Let's start off with that. It says
Oh no, it
premium.
was it was crazy, you know, like just three places all at once, and people were counterattacking all that other kind of shit. But um, we'll let them in on the conversation. Anyway, what's up, everybody? Thank you all for coming through. You already know, Marcus, go ahead, go do your thing, man.
Yeah, I just gotta hop over to the Rockfin side and get us live over there. Cool. All right, and let's see. Come on, Rockfin.
Right?
It just be dragging sometimes. I see somebody Geography Pro already started it off with
No, Geo Pro, what's up, man?
yeah, it says listen to Dr. David Martin. I think I understand the main mechanism used to reduce carbon slash science junk. It's pseudodoriadine and how it causes cancer. When cancer develops, it depends on the percentage of the pseudodoriadine in science juice. Okay, interesting. Um,
Look who Shamanique asked us if we listen to.
yes, yes, yes,
Yeah, we're familiar.
yes. Definitely familiar. Um, yeah, interesting. It all depends on the
Yeah,
topic. Topic,
I was
which
gonna
way
say
I
it's
lean on the
you know
comments.
it, it does depend on the topic with Mr. Jason Black. You know, it some things he's spot on. Other things I feel as if he's limited, not not as a diss, but just limited with the information.
Well, it happens also when you're so micro focused. A lot of times in one direction, you tend to not catch everything else. So that's what I'll say. So I guess let's go ahead and get it started. As you guys can see from the thumbnail, sorry if I keep doing this. My I didn't trim my mustache and the hair start tickling my nose. So apologies. And my allergies are bothering me too. So I got to take some crap. I don't know. I showed Chris also my the distance it is from my front door to my parking spot. Well, that's not my parking
Yeah,
spot, but where I was able to find parking.
that's crazy.
Yeah, a 3 minute walk.
That's what I'm saying. That's wild. Those days are over with. Those days are over with for me, and they've been over for a long time. Thankfully,
Yeah,
I'm. It's the small things that you take pleasure in. Find a parking spot. Things like that. Not sitting in traffic for hours to get places that are not that far away. Yeah, I don't miss those days.
yeah. In fact, I just want to for fun to look up the mileage to LAX from where I am right now. Because for those who missed the show last week, I had the pleasure of being out there in Florida, hanging out with my bro Chris, and it
Yes,
was a
sir.
wonderful time. It was a wonderful time. Let's see. So if we was going, what the fuck is this? All right. So if I was to drive right now, it's not bad. 25 minutes, 15 miles.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's not bad at all. But yesterday, I mean not yesterday, but when we came back, it was what I mean. I showed you we were stuck in traffic going 10 miles an hour on
Mm,
the 105.
mm. That was it, and that was at 2:45 your time, I believe.
Yes, 2:45 p.m. But
Mm.
yeah, we got some interesting topics. Of course, we got to go in and we got to talk about Trump, or the RNC. We got to talk about uh, JD Vance. We got to kind of go a little bit, try to peel some of the layers of the onion back on him. and kind of talk about him a little bit and
Listen
where's this
here,
guy come from?
brother.
Oh, that hot mess.
Listen here, brother.
Yeah. So we definitely gonna have some takes on some of the RNC stuff.
Though that
Um,
was the best. That was the best night of entertainment I have seen in a long time, yo. I promise you. No
it's
bullshit.
hard for
I mean,
me. The Hulk was entertaining, but the rest is it's painful for me to listen to it. It really
oh
is.
no, that part, all the rest of it was, nonsense. But between Hulk, Kid Rock's embarrassing moment, and
Oh,
Dana White's
I
speech,
fast forwarded. I fast forwarded Kid Rock. I was like, I don't want to listen to him.
I was watching the Kid Rock because nobody in the crowd except for like three people knew what was going on. So all the cowboy hats that they were showing, and they had the view from the top, looking
Hmm.
down. Like not a single cowboy hat was moving to anything Kid Rock was doing on that stage. So I found that to be a little bit interesting and funny,
Well,
considering
it
that.
showed the age. It showed the age of the crowd there too.
Oh, for sure. Showed their age. And then the fact that he showed up in all black with glasses, a hat, he, again, you biting off the culture that, y'all claim to hate so much. So, again, the irony wasn't lost on me. I thought it was funny, especially because he got if they were giving out awards for the performers at the RNC, he would have got the I don't know who the fuck you are award because
Yeah,
nobody was.
definitely. Yeah, definitely. Um, of course, we'll entertain the ongoing, sitcom of will Biden drop out, and then the extra caveat: if he drops out, uh, who's going to be the replacement? I
They
mean,
got Hillary Clinton trending right now.
so we
Right
got
now as
that.
we speak, I see she's trending.
We'll talk about it. So, what else we got? We got the situation that's going over there in Israel, with Israel back and forth with the Houthis and Israel against Lebanon, and strikes going multiple different
against
directions.
against
So
Hezbollah.
yeah. I also touched briefly on kind of a status update on what I've heard as far as the Russia Ukraine thing. But it hasn't been very much. What's up, Meteor Dreams? And then what else do we have? Oh, I guess the first one that I'll really start off with, outside of like the what was it, CrowdStrike? I don't know, did that affect you at all?
No, thankfully it didn't. We were good. I think one of our offices may have been affected, but for the most part, it was business as usual. But there was a software update, I believe, by the company
Mm-hmm.
CrowdStrike, and it uh, caused a global outage. Airports, stores, schools, you name it, around the world, several businesses and institutions were affected.
I mean, did you well, my company, it affected us. So
Okay.
what all eight of our what I think we have eight branches. Like all of our branches were out.
Yo,
So
media is funny. Maybe
well, that's a good thing. You're like, hey, well, no fees, right?
when they reset it, they just erase the fees, right?
We'll see. Maybe if you were able to, get a couple of days out of it, that check will come in before the fees come, and you'd be all right. And then it's kind of, I was thinking about it. It's kind of crazy. If we would have flew out a couple of days later, we would have been stuck.
Oh
We would have
yeah,
we would have probably got stuck in Dallas more than likely. Well, that's right. We end up flying through Charlotte, but
Charlotte. There
but
was a
yeah, we would have got
possibility
stuck.
we could have been stuck. Yeah.
And what happened also, well, or they would have just grounded us in the middle and would end up in Colorado or some shit. But did you see what happened in Dallas? That big historic church?
Yeah, you said a drone. I mean, it caught on fire.
Yeah, I mean, it's do you got that clip?
Yeah.
Because it's wild to see it. Like you hear about the fire, but it's wild when you actually see it. Like the walls of the church are like perfectly fine, but the inside is gutted. It's gone. I was recommended here by Chamonique. How y'all been doing? Mona Lisa, we are doing great. Thank you for coming over. And thank you, Chamonique,
Marcus is
for
there.
recommending. Yes, so this is that church, the iconic and very very famous church in Dallas Fort Worth. And as you can see the outsides of it from the outside, if you were just zeroing in on that one part of it, it looks perfectly fine. But all four of the walls are like that. Oh, you can keep going. I guess just freeze it up when it gets right above it. So as you can see, look, the structures around it perfectly fine, but the inside is just wrecked, completely destroyed. I mean, I kept hearing about this over and over and over through my feed, so I figured I'd at least bring it up. But yeah, this is wild when I saw it. I mean, did you hear about this? What do you think, Chris?
No, I didn't hear anything about this. They said it was a fire or
Yeah,
something nefarious. Like, what's the deal
there's
with
still
it?
an investigation to try to figure out the cause of it.
Oh,
But
okay.
this is like, I mean, it has the whole community there, especially the faith community, pretty shook because this is a very old church also. So it's an
It
old, very
is.
well known church, and so they they're a little shook up about it. So I mean,
Yo,
that's
one thing
all.
I
Yeah,
no, I was gonna say, one thing I have to say about Twitter is that you can find shit so much faster on Twitter than you can on the net. Like, I just did a search for something to look for a video, right?
hmm
And none of the options that come up in the search, whether DuckDuckGo or it's Google, none of them have like up to date videos. Meanwhile, I go to Twitter and you can find up to date videos or videos are that are not that old. Obviously, there is more space for people to use old videos and try to make them current, but that's on you to try to be a little bit smart. Hopefully, you pay attention to certain things and even read through some of the comments because there are some honest people on the platform who do want to actually provide accurate information and aren't just doing it just to be the class clown or the dunce, if you will.
yeah.
But I just wanted to say that because I've just been noticing that over the last several days.
Yeah, I've noticed that too, and it hasn't from for me. I've been noticing it for a little while now that I
Correct.
have to go and search on X first, and instead of even
Hmm.
worrying about whether, like Chris said, whether it's Google, DuckDuckGo, Bing, whatever you want to search on. And I think what was it? Probably about maybe 2 years ago or so when they had that change at the top of Google. That's when you started
Yeah.
noticing this how much harder it is to find stuff through Google. I mean,
Yeah.
you have to like really specify, and even if like you put in the Google image searches and you try to search for an image or something like that, it's harder to find that stuff also. Um,
It is.
and I think it's a concerted effort to start burying information more and more, which that's something that we're going to have to be more mindful on. And I would say just in researching stuff, just be more patient. We're all going to have to be more patient because we're going to have to really sift through information because of the way that these formats are getting. It's making it almost where you need to go to a social media platform first, whether that's going to be X or Twitch or or YouTube, whatever. That's what I'm starting to see. And even YouTube is like you're getting that information, but it's formatting it in a certain way where you only get particular information and you're not getting a wide variety of the
Mhm.
information. Even the news searches.
At
So I
all.
mean, Twitter, you're gonna find something now. It's a matter of if what you found is legit or not altered is a different story. So that's what I had on that. Oh, it was another thing. I felt like, I would feel remiss if we didn't bring this up. Oh, I see Yonina's in the building. What's up, Yonina? But did you hear about that shooting?
Which one?
The young woman, her last name is Massey. I'm blanking on the first name. Why is this
No.
delete?
Oh, did you see?
She was
Sorry,
no, go
sorry.
ahead.
I was gonna say. You see, Sheila Jackson Lee died.
Yes, I did see that.
I didn't. I didn't.
She died.
I just saw it a while ago.
Yeah, I saw it. Was it yesterday? And
Yeah, I
Bob
saw it
Newhart,
like
he
earlier
died.
today.
Bob Newhart
Who?
died also. Bob Newhart.
Oh, yeah, a
For
bunch
for
of
the
people
older
been dying.
folks out there, I know y'all know who it
Yeah, a
is.
bunch of people been dying lately.
But for the Sheila Jackson Lee, it's kind of wild because um it's not. I guess it shows you how death can come for you at any time. Um, she seemed like
Mhm.
she was in pretty good, pretty decent health. Had her wits about her and everything, and plenty of people will talk to her like days before, no problem, and then boom, all of a sudden, you're down, and that's how that. I can't remember what was it that she passed from exactly.
I don't even know. I just saw she passed, and I thought about it. Again, this was somebody who, was in Congress for quite a long time, and
Hmm.
basically just served the interests of the ruling class. Unfortunately, she's not gonna pass away with too many memorable remarks on her career spent in Congress. Uh, she'll just be one of the ones who worked to serve herself.
Yeah, I mean, outside of what probably Texas and the Houston area in particular, I think that's
Yeah,
probably where she'll be the most well known. Um,
correct.
you know, I can't remember any kind of major legislation that she really championed or where she made a major mark. She just kind of was a creature of Washington. Cat 83 says she was diagnosed with cancer in June and died this month. Sounds like she had
An accident. An
could
accident.
have been.
I see what you're saying, Cat. But she had an accident, Cat. How
Well,
dare you, Cat? How dare you? One more will block you, Cat. You know I'm being sarcastic. Please
shame on
don't
you.
take it.
Yeah, we're gonna put you in the corner for that one. Says Asian Chinese. Was it the it's two? Yeah, I guess Yonina says Democratic Rep Sheila Jackson Lee of Texas has died. Her
She had
office announced
pancreatic
Friday
cancer, it seems.
evening.
Mm,
Ooh,
mm. Well, I guess.
yeah, but I'm kind of. It's kind of weird to me a little bit because um, let me let me turn off my notifications because they're going insane. But it's kind of weird to me that a member of Congress who gets regular medical visits and checkups. Damn it, just turn my what do I got to turn out? All of it's turned out. But it's kind of weird to me that a representative who gets some of the top healthcare that you can have, none of these checkups were caught or anything. Yeah, that's right. Richard Simmons died recently. Also, honestly, it's kind of messed up. Eddie Murphy, from him doing that like parody of him in the Nutty Professor. Anytime I think of Richard Simmons, that's what I think of.
Mm,
You remember, right?
yeah.
So, and then said McCain died of glioblastoma. That sucks. Which McCain had
Glioblastoma.
multiple cancers from the skin cancer, and actually I think Arizona and Florida like are number one and number two in the country as far as skin cancer rates. So y'all need to be careful out there in the sun.
Not everybody built to be outside that often.
Mm-hmm. But that let me see if I can find what her first name was.
Who you talking about?
The young woman who died because it's a big deal going on right now. Black Lives Matter, they were out protesting and everything. What was her name? Sonia Massey. That's what it is. It's in Illinois. Um,
I don't know who that is.
yeah, look up the story. Uh, she called
How'd you
about
spell it?
a huh? Sonia Sonya. Um,
Y-A or I-A?
YA, and then Massey Massey. I guess it caught my attention because that was my mom's married name, my mom's married last name. So um, it caught my attention just hearing about that. But she called about like a prowler or an intruder or something like that. She called the police. When they came, they told her to, I guess she had a pot she was cooking, and so boiling hot water, and they told her to set down the pot. And she says, "I'm sorry," or something like that, and ducks down, and he comes around the counter, and three shots, one through the face, and put her out. And so yeah, this is the deputy, which um this is the deputy who now he's been relieved of duty and he is facing charges behind this. So they said that his body cam was off. Yes, they are hiding this story. They are definitely hiding this story. And I feel like the biggest thing about Black Lives Matter, the whole reason why that was a lot of the protests in the first place is because we weren't getting officers to this point of there being any accountability. That's the whole point of like the say her name stuff. It's because they're not acknowledging these people who have been lives taken from police. And the right wing, they want to take it and say her name. Okay, you guys are acting as if justice is not being served. We that's the reason why it was a staple as far as like Black Lives Matter and all that, because justice was not being served. People were just getting away with this stuff, and they be on paid leave for a couple of months and then come right back and no harm, no foul. But somebody else lost their mother, their brother, their sister, a family member in a very unjust way, and that's the reason why I just wanted to highlight this. I'm not going to stay on it long, but I'm pretty sure on Monday when that body cam footage comes out, I think that's probably where we'll hear a whole lot more conversation on the issue.
I
Um,
mean, there's something wrong with these. There's something wrong with them. Again, I don't have any love for that profession whatsoever. They're pussy. What else can I say? Again, you didn't get what was the information not relayed properly? Did you think that the person calling was just setting you up to get you in the house so they could do some harm to you? Is
mm-hmm,
that what your thought process led you to? So again, they're calling it murder. How? I don't know. I have to read more into the story or see the body cam to
mm-hmm,
agree with a murder charge being put on him. And the only reason why I say that because if it's murder one, then you have to show intent, and therefore with the murder charges on the police, I'm always kind of skeptical because that seems to be the legal way to get them out of it, while also saying, well, look, the justice system did its job, as opposed to like manslaughter or something like that, where you could tack on that years after deny parole, deny probation, anything like that. So, well, again, once the body cam footage comes out, we'll be able to make a more informed opinion about it. Although the story isn't unfamiliar or unheard of.
cool. I added us on to one other link. I guess I gotta switch my the way my Twitter is. and but
Okay.
it's not showing on Twitter, so it doesn't matter. I mean, I just switched it over to Facebook, and so that'll give the people who haven't watched it on Facebook a little bit of time to be able to catch up with the show since they haven't seen it. Um,
Yeah. We
Chamonix,
should do
yeah,
one early.
yeah.
We should try it
It's
early so you could follow the steps because I think they want you to basically like sign in all over again. It's weird.
no, no, no. What they want on there is they want you have to be a premium account,
Oh, premium. That's right.
and so I have to switch it from the political matrix one um to my young
You're a
Morpheus
regular.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah, the young
got you.
Morpheus one, I could do it on that one. I mean, if I decide to do it or not. But yeah, I
Yeah.
saw that list. Chamonix says here says all Asians and South Asians and Indians are tweeted at Marcus with the list. Yeah, what
Yes,
she's
they.
talking about is the Elon model minority thing, and Elon since he's taken over this platform. I mean, I didn't think he would go to the extent that he's went, but he's basically just saying I am full on right winger, and this is going to be a right wing site. And this is not only a right wing site, but this is going to be a site that is going to promote, anything MAGA related and anything that's right wing evangelical related, along with pornography and a whole bunch of other ads. I mean,
Ironic, when we think of this situation, matter of fact, with the young lady we just discussed, Sonia Massey, when you think of that situation, you go back to last week, Saturday, what happened with Donald Trump. Look, they pulled the gun on the woman and shot her. You saw somebody on the roof with a gun, you did nothing. I mean, obviously, there's a deeper story there, but just to show the typical police actions in certain situations.
yeah. I mean, it's mind boggling to me how what you have no problem shooting an unarmed woman in her
But I
apartment
think
because
also,
she has a pot of water, but yet you see a man crawling with a rifle, and that doesn't warrant busting off shots.
you know what though, Marcus? Again, it's almost as I said, it's almost similar. I guess Elon's how can I say Elon's actions, especially over the last several months, right? I think it ties into what I said. If we were to go full right wing and just talk about all the ways that we hate our own kind or be hypercritical of our own kind, how our audience would change and we would grow. I think Elon is looking at it from the same space because again, he's not cut from that cloth of people. Maybe in the fact that he dislikes minorities because he is from where he's from. So his dislike of minorities is built in,
I
is
think that's all
built
he
in,
needs.
right?
I
But
think that's
also
all he
too,
needed.
to go after it to keep hyping it up, to keep to keep eyes on his platform, to keep them engaged on his platform early and often and not really leaving it alone. Who's the best audience to go after? The same audience that he caters to, retweets, likes, engages with, you know. So I kind of see also what he's doing, and he's probably down with all of it. It's just like it's a double-edged sword. I mean,
But
it's a double-edged sword.
where what confuses me is though he honestly can make more money from the neoliberal side. And bear with me, I'll explain. Because he can be able to get the so-called rhinos and the establishment if he just leans center right. I mean center left or even center right. But by him pushing so far to the right, he's only collecting a certain amount of money because a lot of those neoliberal Biden supporters, they be throwing money at him right and left for plenty of things. And he would be able to get advertiser dollars from the top from both sides. And I feel like it shows maybe a little purview into his thinking because he's taking a route which is losing him more money. I don't know, just my
But
thoughts.
it's also gaining him a certain amount of cultural currency too, that gives him a little more standing amongst a certain group of people. So it looks as if he's playing like the long game about this. Oh, we know Elon. I'm talking about just generating money and traffic for his site, because having it there, then you can help model what the narrative is and things of that nature. So yeah, I think he would care a little bit about his investment making some money, even though he knows that his direction has cost him some advertisers, such as Disney and all those other companies. Um, but he'll make up for it in other places, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Cat makes a good point here and says, why would Elon Musk care about right or left? Doesn't he get most of his money from the military industrial complex? Not exactly. He doesn't get most of his money from it, but he does get a sizable amount because we got to keep in mind a lot of these rich people, they diversify their money at that level. So he getting money from the State Department. He's also getting his money from private investors. He's also getting money, through Tesla, which is separate. There's also a certain amount of money and capital that he can get from his platform of X. So they're not all in the same loop, but certain things that
Correct.
he may or may not do, where he might get back doors to letting federal agencies go into accounts and things like that. Those are kind of like add on additional bonuses. It's kind of like if you're a pro athlete and you reach certain milestones, you have like escalators in your contract where you can receive extra money if you tick off these extra things. And so it's not that he's getting all of his money directly from like Pentagon or something like that. It's that is a chunk, but he has other chunks over here also where he's getting that are completely separate of that.
Hmm. I know. So Marcus, let me ask you, what did? Well, hold on. Let me see. What else happened? Anything else?
Um, no, that's the bigger things. I mean, I did a little bit more research on what we were talking about last week with what was it? With Niger, Burkina Faso, and
Molly.
some and Mali, them kind of working on a team up, um, and that's being powered by Putin also. It's just gotta, like you were mentioned, gotta keep our eye on it because any of these nations which had any kind of tie-in with any of these French countries, because a lot of times they will dump money into coup attempts or just to sit in there and be the person who's going to destabilize the whole thing. That's part of the problem which Gaddafi ran into when he was trying to
Hmm.
work on the whole that currency that he was trying to
Gold
build up from
dinar.
Africa. Yeah, so him trying to build up that currency, there were people in there that were feeding information to MI5 and stuff like that in Great Britain, and they were relaying that information to the CIA and stuff like that, and that led to, well, not only CIA but CIA, State Department, and Homeland Security, and all of those things led to the situation he ended up in his last days.
Hmm.
Is
All
that
right,
why
that's what's
nuclear
up.
power is on fire in Russia right now? Well, I don't know if that's why, but I wouldn't rule out the possibilities of that because um, they want to try to they're trying to whenever they try to attack an enemy, and I'm saying NATO or the United States or a combination of the two, EU. What they do is they always do a multi-pronged approach. It's never I'm just going to hit you this way or that way. It's always multiple things that they try to do to try to throw somebody off. And they've tried their best to try to go after their currency multiple times with the sanctions and all those things. They know that oil is the thing which basically tanked the USSR back in the day when their economy. It was during the time when Reagan was doing the whole Star Wars stuff, and a lot of people put it on that it was Reagan that tanked their economy. What it was is they had a stock market crash during that time period, and all of their everything was basically into oil. That's the reason why I was talking about diversifying earlier, because a lot of
Hmm.
these big business, wealthier people or wealthier businesses always diversify their money in case it goes down in some kind of way. In the USSR, basically it pushed all their chips up to the table for the oil. They didn't have a lot of investments in anything else. And so when their markets crashed, they lost easily a good 75 to 80% of what was backing their currency and their strength. And that's what left, the USR. It led to the breakup and left a lot of those former states completely dilapidated. So that's part of why you need to why you always need to make sure you don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Mm-hmm.
There was someone with your name chatting. Thought it was you.
So,
Oh, yeah. Well, that's me or Chris if you see that in the chat, Political Matrix.
so Marcus, let's I really want to get into this RNC, man. How much of it did you watch?
I didn't watch much. I did watch I watched Eric Trump's speech. Well, a good chunk of it. I watched of course your highlight of the night. I watched Mr. Terry Hulk Hogan. I watched who else did I watch? I watched JD Vance's speech, and I watched Trump's speech.
Yeah, I saw the highlights from his granddaughter. I saw some of the highlights from Eric, and some of the highlights from the other son, Junior. But I was on the phone, messing around on the phone, and I saw Hulk Hogan come up. So you know, I put it on, and the point I always make on this show, I make to you. I talk to all my friends about it. I always say that Trump reminds me of Vince McMahon. And sure enough, he had one of Vince McMahon's early top earners speak for him at the RNC. For you guys who don't know, Hulk Hogan was a major part of Marcus and I's childhood. If you watched wrestling back when it was WWF and not WWE, he was probably the marquee wrestler for the company. And
Yeah,
keep in mind, on the other side, you had WCW, who had Sting and people like that over there, but WWF was the number one. All of us 80s babies who watched wrestling from the late 80s or mid 80s through the 90s and even into the early 2000s, we know all about Hulk Hogan. And he went full Hulk Hogan
yes, he did.
on stage on stage at the RNC. And let me say this as an independent observer, right? Someone who, I don't have a dog in this fight one way or another. When I have to say his performance was extremely effective for the audience it was supposed to be effective to, for the
Oh, yeah.
intended audience. It was like you could not have scripted that perfect. If you put the movie sheen over the live news feed, that would have been, you'd have been super duper entertained if it was a movie or a show or some kind of parody. And I know they have a parody, Idiocracy, where Terry Crews is doing something similar.
President Hector Macho Camacho.
And well, let Amber Rose have a key speaking spot because of her proximity, or used to be proximity, to Kanye West and to hip hop in general. These people are so out of touch with the culture that they would think that having Amber Rose there to speak would actually attract people of
Black
the hip
voters.
hop
Yeah.
culture, and i.e. black voters to that side, young black voters, as if she
Hmm.
has any sway. I mean, do men want to have sex with Amber Rose? Of course they do, right? Look at her. You know, she can get the business. But
Even
outside
with
of
the
that,
forehead tats.
yeah, I mean, you don't have to look at the forehead, right? But we won't go any further than that. I'm just saying, right? Um, she doesn't bring anybody along with her. So the fact
No.
that she got up on stage, hey, good, good for her, you know. But the Hogan shit, and I don't know if you watched it, Marcus. Did you see Trump's face the entire time Hulk was on?
Mm-mm.
Yo, his whole face, he was trying to hold his cheesy ass smile the whole time. He really looked like he was a kid in Madison Square Garden back in the day. I mean, he was like, "Are you talking about me? Oh, my idol!" Oh.
He
Like
did. He
you
did look
could.
like he loved anytime anybody was saying good stuff about him. The man was
He was,
just orgasming in his pants.
yo, it was crazy. I was like, yo, they probably gonna have him change clothes before he goes out there, because he
Mm-hmm.
just everything Hulk said, he was just
Mm-hmm.
trying to hold this shit back, yo. It was actually very entertaining to watch. Again, I know it is stupidity of the highest order. It is ignorance of the highest order. But again, as far as a theatrical production, they did a very good job for the intent for the target audience. They did not
Well,
they satisfied their audience big time.
well, yeah. They anybody who was already like in the MAGA camp, especially going back to the 2016 days and the birther days, they really gave them everything that they wanted. Because even
Yes.
though Trump's speech was supposed to be a unity speech, it it started off that way for like the first maybe I say 15 minutes. It did seem like he was talking about I'm not trying to be a president just for half of the country. And then he turned around and let me kick the shit out of half the country now. So I mean,
Marcus, I didn't even find that. I watched the whole speech, right? I really I punished myself and watched the whole thing.
I did too.
I
The
I
whole
didn't think
hour and 32 minutes.
yeah, I didn't first of all, his tone was slightly different than I'm used to hearing from him.
Well,
He's
yeah, I mean,
usually
if you focus
he's
on the
usually
tone,
braggadocious
no,
on he's usually braggadocious on level like 50. This time it seemed like he was on level 10, which is, that's a good decrease for him. Number one, two, I think the things that he said that the only things that he said that stuck out to me, and which I thought was very important, was when he talked about the inflation, interest rates, and people being able to afford rent and to be able to purchase homes and to move and things like that. I think that was the only thing that he repeated multiple times that he actually got right every single time, and it was a super duper important thing. He says he wants to do something with inflation when he gets in office. Whatever it is he would be able to do would be, minimal, like minimal to me. But we'll
me
find
too.
out. But I want to say that he has, at the very least, has his finger on the pulse of really what's happening. And again, does that mean he's going to do anything about it? No. However, it's they usually don't describe the L's properly. They usually gloss over it. But I was
Well,
surprised that he hit on that a couple of times. His comments about Kim Jong Un, that shit was funny. He misses me. He wishes I was there.
mhm. I
What he, Marcus, what did he say? What he say? He said, the Taliban, they called me Your Excellency.
he said okay. I mean, when for me, that's why it's hard for me to listen to people who talk like that. I mean, I'm the and what do you say? Like the economy, I mean, it's never been any economy ever better than when I was running things. And I'm like, dude, come on with the fucking over exaggerations on everything.
Yo, he
Everything is
said,
the greatest, the best ever. Under me, this
no,
never, ever, ever could have happened. Possibly. I
Marcus.
mean, it's
Marcus,
like, oh
he said,
gosh,
we had the biggest and most beautiful economy the world has ever seen.
I'm like, ever seen? That's really what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
I'm like, and then, well, he did say a lot about him. I mean, he was a little redundant. Okay, we get it. You care about the wall, and you feel like there's too many undocumented illegal immigrants. I get it, but did you have to like bring it up? I mean, dude brought it up like 40 times easily. Just I mean, he'd say something, then go back to immigration. Say something, go back to immigration. Say something, go back to immigration. I'm like, dude, you're not even saying anything new. You're just repeating the same thing over and over and over. I get it. You want to go and round up like 16 million people and boot them out of the country on day
But
one.
Marcus, he brought back some goodies. Remember the old commercials back in the day that used to come on USA, and they would play all the oldies songs, and they would package it on one CD. They'd be like, "Get your favorite '60s hits, such as so and so and such and such." Well,
Mm-hmm.
Trump kind of did the same thing. He brought back the China virus.
Yeah,
That also that also made me laugh. He
which it's
was
not
back
even
to
because it's not the
China.
China virus, it's the
He would
America
that's like
virus because America actually released it in China. Oh shit, I probably shouldn't have said that, but I mean,
no,
it came from the Wuhan lab, which was one of our labs over there in China. So technically, it's our fault. It's kind of like the same thing with the Spanish flu. The Spanish flu actually traces back to a soldier who came out of Leavenworth. So
it's the China.
but
He
but
says
but it's
the
par for the
what did he say?
course. Blame it on somebody else.
Wait, did he say the Chinese flu? Did he say something like that too?
Something like that. He
Yeah.
called it the China virus. Definitely.
Yeah, Marcus just got this episode knocked
Yeah,
down.
I
So,
know.
it's kind of like we got a free play, so we could just basically say anything for the rest of the episode because this ain't going to be available in the morning once they go through that. Last
I don't
week
know.
we
We
put
might get
assassination.
lucky. We might get lucky.
Last week we put assassination, I think, in the title, and we got a note on the channel about the 81 Reagan assassination on the channel. So everything that just whenever you think that they're not paying attention, they really are. They want to control everything.
Well, the algorithm's gonna
Total
catch it.
control.
The algorithm's gonna catch it. Whatever you say. But I mean,
Yeah.
another thing that he said. He said that all the other countries, their crime rates have like dropped virtually to zero, and
Oh
it's
yeah.
because that they're deporting all of their criminals to America, and all of the immigrants that have been deported to America are the cause for all the crime in America, basically.
He said the next RNC is going to be in Venezuela
Yeah,
because it's
he
so much.
really said that. Everybody, he really said that.
He said the next RNC should be in Venezuela because it'll be safer
Yeah.
because all of their criminals will be in the United States. So he said their crime is down 70%, which I haven't checked the numbers, but I doubt crime in Venezuela is down
It's not.
70% over the last 18 to 24 months. I highly
No,
doubt that.
it's not. In fact, it's probably just about as high as it's always been because you don't have any we still got all those tariffs. I'm not tariffs, but what are they called? Sanctions. We still got all those sanctions on them, which are it, inevitably driving up crime rates. And when you put sanctions on a place, you are going to run their crime up because you
Oh yeah,
create
absolutely.
scarcity. Yeah, he talked about. Well, that's another thing. He talked about building a wall and how he had to take. Now he took like I only took 80 billion out of the border patrols to build the wall, and he said the wall is basically almost done, but he just got to build a little bit more to complete it. Which I look at it like this: you can build a wall all the way around the whole entire United States. You're still not going to stop illegal immigration. You know why you'll never stop it is because are you going to pay all these guards? I mean, what does a border patrol agent make per year? What
Hmm.
50,000? You
I'd
don't
say
think
a
that
little bit
somebody
more, but yeah.
there are mayors and governors who are on cartels payrolls for 10 times that amount. You don't think that they could pay a couple of agents to let stuff cross through the border? That's why I'm like, it doesn't matter what you do. And also, most of the people who come into this country illegally, it's they fly in and stay. So the whole border wall stuff, it's just idiotic. But whatever. Also, not to mention, you know how many freaking tunnels it is across the southern border that they have no clue about?
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of pathways,
There's
and if
so
anything,
many ways.
they'll just start coming in from Canada. It is what it is.
You can go in from Canada. Actually, you can literally go to Canada, get a boat, come right around, and coast right into Washington or Oregon because there's hardly anybody on that coastline.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many ways to get in. Also, how many people who can come in through shipping containers? Because that's how a lot of them come in through the Northeast. Whether
Mm-hmm.
they're going through the Baltimore Harbor, whether they're going through Long Island. I mean, so whether Virginia, wherever, there's always going to be ways to bring people in, especially if there's people who need money. So, but right wingers do get the false sense of security that you need, and waste a whole lot of money doing it. I mean, he
Oh
talked
yeah.
about didn't he talk about he said something about he wanted to do the moats with the sharks and stuff. He brought back all the 2016
Oh shit,
stuff.
I missed that one. I must have stepped out the room. I did hear him discuss the fact that the automakers are building plants in Mexico. And I
Mm-hmm.
know that is something that the United States, not just Trump, does not want to happen. The United States as a whole is
Oh
against that
yeah,
particular action.
he brought up building the Iron Dome over the whole entire U.S. too.
Oh, he did?
Yes,
Mm.
which
Okay. So if we have
we
Space Force, what do we need the Iron Dome for?
well that's technically the same thing.
Oh, okay.
That's what Reagan was trying to do. Basically, build an Iron Dome over the whole U.S., and that's why they called it Space Force. And the whole point, the whole idea of a bullet trying to shoot a bullet. Well, the reason why that works in Israel, excuse me, because Israel's not very big. The
Mm.
size of the U.S. and how huge the U.S. is, it's a lot harder to do that. Also, the rockets which the Iron Dome is shooting down are a lot of these kind of outdated, older, and slower munitions. Basically, kind of crude munitions, which are kind of handmade, and they're not the same as what's coming out of like BAE. They're not the same that's coming out of Boeing or Northrop Grumman. It's a whole different quality level of weapons and munitions that would be shot at this country, from a foe that had the ability to shoot them. So
Hmm.
yeah, and Israel's Iron Dome, if they actually start firing on, like, if Iran really wanted to like let loose and really fire on them, there'd be no way that Iron Dome could stop what Iran really has. So I mean, also they couldn't stop what Turkey could do to them.
Mm.
So, but the Iron Dome, if because Russia and China are on the same page. If Russia and China decided to start launching off, no Iron Dome would protect the U.S.
Yeah, correct. But so I'm just trying to think what other highlights and lowlights did he uh, say? His what was it? His recollection of what happened to him last week Saturday. Even that started out hilariously. It's a beautiful day. The grass is green. Oh, you've never seen grass so green. And then his description of then his description about him being shot at was kind of crazy. And he made a good point when he said, "Yo, nobody ran and nobody trampled anybody." And he just wanted to let them know that he was eyes, so he put his fist up in the air, or whatever. And again, just like a movie, right when he was getting to that part, you saw all the people in the crowd starting to put up their fist. You know what I mean? Starting to go in them. So I thought that was very, movie like, and it was again very effective for that group of people. So that was good for them. They got everything they wanted. But I also wanted to say, at least last week when it was breaking news, or the day after that they took the shot at Trump, I was I took the position of I don't know, I don't know. But after all this information has come out, I fully believe that that's not the last time that they're going to take a shot at him. I don't believe that was staged or fake or anything. I think it has to do with the amount of money that is being passed around Ukraine. I think that maybe because when I think about all of the people who would have a problem with Trump, right? Who would it be? The Zionists? Nah, he'll let Israel do exactly what they want, when they want, how they want, right? He's not messing up anything there. I'm just thinking about all the people who would have a problem and who could get you out of here, right? They would strike me as one group. Nah, he's cool with them, so it wouldn't be them. If he wants to lower taxes, again, as I said, they can complain and talk about it, but the donors will ultimately have money, more money, and they'll be able to raise more money out of their donors. So they really don't care. And plus, all of them are rich. It will benefit them too. So any opposition to a tax cut is just mouth service. Is nonsense. Who else is he pissing off? The military. He gives them essentially what they want. They said, "Give me what, 40 or 50 billion." He said, "Take 60, close to 70." He'll sign off on the increase of the military budget just like this in a heartbeat. So what else could it be? To me, the only thing my brain can land on, since other people have brought it up, is the situation with Ukraine. That's the only place I see him messing up money. And we see it's a lot of money. It's not just tens of millions of dollars or even hundreds of millions of dollars. We're in the $100 billion range at this point. If you were the people on the receiving end of all that money and you saw that somebody potentially could come and fuck this up, what would we do as a clique? The first thing we would probably do first thing we would probably say to each other is, "Yo, this dude got to go. We got to get rid of him. He's in the way. Let's figure this out."
And I disagree. And this is one of those times where you'll get to hear us on the opposite sides. The reason why I disagree that would be it is because if Trump is not in there, and they're not going to get this massive tax cut that they're about to get, and they're going to get more out of that tax cut than they ever would get out of Ukraine. Also, there's still the group which would be losing out of the money is BlackRock, which BlackRock is still going to get that money somewhere else. They don't necessarily need. Plus, well, actually, they're still going to get the money because they still will have to fix that area. Is still going to have to be fixed, regardless if they stop it now or they stop it 3 years from now. They're still going to be getting that money, so they're not going to lose the money. So I don't feel like that would be enough of a justification for it because they're still going to get enough out of Trump either way. Um, I land on the fact of I saw when he described it. Yeah, he gave out all this descriptive stuff, but he said he felt a thump like he's been hit harder than he can ever remember. Well, I could see your ear. At best, you got a scratch across the top of your ear. A
Oh, he had the
scratch is
cocaine
not a scratch is
He
not
had the,
a hard hit. And then you got a damn maxi pad on your ear for a tiny scratch. I
yeah, that shit was
mean,
hilarious.
come on. You got a tiny scratch on the top of your ear. I get if a chunk of your ear was missing, which we could clearly see no parts of your ear was missing.
Mm-mm.
Also, um, I don't like this woman, but I have been listening to a bunch of different people. Even I don't have to agree with their their political beliefs and all that, but I can accept good analysis when I see it. Joanne Reed brought up some good points. She said, why come we haven't seen anything or heard anything about the status of his ear? Why is there no FOIA request? Why is the media not even caring to want to know what is the damage to his ear? What is the level of it? Is he have a hearing loss? What? Nothing. There's no curiosity to the level of damage to what his ear was. There's also, I fall back on, if it was just BlackRock or somebody like that, um I don't think we would have seen all the security fails that we saw. There was a lot of things which went wrong,
That's
which
what. That's why, and that's why we should. That's There wasn't anything that went wrong. It was everything that went according to plan. It was just the fact that he moved out the way at the last second. Everything went according to plan. The guy was there. He didn't have an issue. We have all this evidence now. What he had? He had a transmitter on him. There was an IED in the car. Again,
yeah, but all that stuff can be planted after the fact.
he's 20 years old. Again, like, he's from Trump country. His family's Trump. Everybody around him is Trump. So again, all of these things just look very funny. And again, you just had too many mistakes between. Look, if when they said the police went up on him, he turned his gun on the police, and then he turned around, proceed to take the shot at Trump. I'm sure he had to take, he had to aim a little bit to get that shot off. I'm sure he just didn't do this, turn around, and then be like, bah, and then bust at them just like that. It took a little bit of time. We saw the video. So again, you mean to tell me the police didn't, they not on the same channel to say, yo, we got to do with a gun on the roof here. Yo, shut this shit down, bust a shot in the air. You didn't do anything to try to even get them to jump on the former president. You didn't bust a shot in the air. That alone would have forced them on the stage to collapse on him so that nothing would happen to him. So we had all these breakdowns. Those aren't mistakes, bro. Those are.
But here's another thing.
People,
when you said that the Zionists, you said the Zionists are not upset with him. Well, Larry Fink, BlackRock, who would be making all that money from it, is a Zionist. He would be in cahoots, and so they would know. So you're going to take out our guy who's going to help us with the whole Israel stuff? No, we're not going to okay that. Also,
but everybody will help them with Israel, though. But I'm saying they're not upset with him for that. It's not as if he's taking an opposition to what the current United States policy is.
I don't think that's a big enough stakes for them. I really don't. I mean, you look at the whole Reagan thing. That was a weird fluke. I don't know. Well, I don't know. Somebody who they might explain it to us better later on, because maybe I'm just thinking from like what I know about it from the past and not really dug into it. But you go into like Kennedy. Kennedy was assassinated because he was messing around with Israel's nuclear program. That will get you taken out of here most definitely. No accidents, no misses. Um, I look at until I see the actual damage to Trump's ear, I'm gonna have a hard time accepting this because
I don't need to see the damage. Me personally, I don't need to see the damage to his ear because it was very clear they did take a shot at him. Whether the bullet clipped him or whether they're saying it's the teleprompter piece of plastic that just cut him. You know what I mean? Regardless, whatever that is, I still think they tried to take him out. And they're going to try again.
But that makes a big deal of difference. If he's saying that it happened from the bullet, or if it happened from the teleprompter, that shows that the story is not a legit story that he's telling you. So if he's already lying about that one thing, how do you know that he's not lying about the whole entire thing that's been put together? How do you know that this isn't a fabrication that's created?
One person is dead. I think somebody else was hit as well.
Yes, so, and I agree. But here's the thing.
So I don't think they did all that just to shoot a firefighter, just so that they could use the firefighter's jacket on stage at the RNC. I think we could have been an alternate reality right now. Like his brains was supposed to be blown.
I disagree. I feel like if there wasn't actually somebody hit, then people wouldn't buy the whole thing. Somebody needed to be hit. Somebody had to actually go so that we can ensure that this was a real attempt.
It happens the same way.
If the situation happens exactly the same and nobody dies, how many people would have taken it serious and believed it?
Uh, quite a few, quite a few.
I
I
look
would
at it
still
like
believe it
this.
because
I
here's,
mean,
here's the thing. Every time these
you don't
things,
think that they're above capping off some innocent land. Well, I don't want to say innocent, but you don't think that they're beyond capping off one of their sheeple behind them to make something look more legit.
yeah, of course, but that wouldn't have had any intended effect, right? Because the guy caught the
Oh,
bullet, unfortunately.
it definitely would have an effect.
Look, the guy caught the bullet. Unfortunately, they pulled up his, comments online and shit like that. They see he's a right winger. So yesterday, when they had the services, there was mad people on Twitter basically saying, "Good for you. You got what you get. You good. Ha ha ha." I'm not saying that. I'm just repeating some of the things I saw. So that dude was insignificant. Furthermore, every time we have an event, something happened, there's always a oops, there's a mistake. We just saw it with Israel with October. What did they say? Oh, we had plans that Hamas was going to do something on this day, and we ignored it, and they did it. I just see somebody mention 9/11. What did they say in the presidential daily brief? Oh, the people were going to take out a building. Oops, we missed it. Everything that
Yeah,
happens is always the best way to get out of something is to say, "Oops, we made a mistake," and
which
we
which
constantly
which
see mistake
lends
after mistake after
which lends
mistake
to
in
my point.
places.
Which it
Yes,
lends to
so
my point there. If October 11th they were fine with sacrificing a bunch of people. October 7th they were fine with sacrificing a bunch of people. Why wouldn't they be okay with sacrificing this guy to make sure the story looks legit?
I don't, because they were trying to blow Trump's head off and they just happened to miss. That
I
was supposed to
don't
be the
buy it.
story.
Also,
That's
also
supposed to
another
be the
thing.
story.
Also, here's another thing. How do we know that the bullet was at that trajectory, at that point of his head when he moved his head? We don't even
Oh,
know that for a fact.
and that's a very good point too, Kat. Thank you for bringing that out. And just like in 9/11, with the airline stocks being shorted, that True Social stock was shorted big time. It was like 12. What was it? $12 million, $12 million or something like that. And then the owner said, "Oh, it was a glitch. It was supposed to be 1,200." You don't make a mistake between 12 million and 1,200. There's too many zeros there to make the mistake. So again, the only
But,
people the only people who have experience in killing people like this are the alphabet boys, the CIA, NSA, all the military industrial complex. This seems like the police was in on it with their haphazard behavior. The CIA was in. I mean, excuse me, the Secret Service was in on this with their haphazard behavior. The kid himself, even when we look at the shooter, he is the perfect textbook type of person you want to use. Somebody that nobody's gonna miss, nobody gonna make a big deal over, and he knows he's a dummy on a crash out mission. Who his goal, his only thing to do was to eliminate this guy, and then he was gonna die right after. No evidence, no nothing. All of it. That guy
well,
was clearly a patsy. He was not somebody who was, "Oh, I hate Trump and I'm gonna do something to him because." None of it makes sense, dog. This was a
but
clearly
but
a setup.
but here's the thing. Are we forgetting this is a former president? He has the means to set up all this stuff just like anybody else. You don't think he got ties within all these agencies that could set all of this stuff up? He's the one who picks his whole security detail. He can decide who he wants, where he wants them at any point in time. He has the ability to
That
have
doesn't mean those
shooters.
people aren't. That don't mean that they're not double agents, or they're people who are on somebody else's payroll too, or under the control of
Well,
somebody else.
and to add on what they're talking about, the stock was shorted. Who benefits from the stock being shorted? Trump. The whole stuff going on with Truth Social, that's Trump benefits from that. The person who I see who has the most to gain from all of this is Trump when it comes down to it.
See, look, thank you, Thomas. There's all these things that keep happening. The Secret Service nearly 20 minutes to take them out. That's what I'm saying. It's too much
Yes,
that keeps happening.
Yes, but when we're talking about the Secret Service, this man controls his detail. If his detail is in on it, then of course that this is what they would do. It's not like Biden is controlling his Secret Service.
I'm not saying it's Biden, but I'm saying
No,
this is above the White House.
but what
This is
I'm
above the
saying,
White House.
but Secret Service is not above executive branch. The Secret
I'm
Service
no,
is up under, is controlled by
no
either one.
the call to take him out came from above the White House. Had nothing to do with the White House. I'm not talking about who controls what institution. I'm saying the people who made the call and say, yo, this dude got to go. That didn't come from the White House. That's the next level above that.
Because those people at that level don't even need to do that. They can easily sit him down and say, you're not doing X. They can easily do that. Or they can easily just say, okay, let him keep talking his mess. He's not going to win anyway. They have the ability to if they're on that high that they can sit there and control all of these different agencies, all these separate agencies to orchestrate all of this stuff. Why wouldn't they have multiple shooters?
Because they only needed one. They was on point. It was just by the grace of God, I guess, that he turned his head such a way and that shit missed. There's if this happens 99 more times the same way, 99 times he's getting his brain blown out. 99 times. That shot was right there.
Okay, in the audience, I want to hear. I'm gonna put it to y'all. How many of y'all how many of y'all agree with Chris' assessment that they missed? How many of y'all are with me that know this is all a complete setup? This is a complete false flag up and down. Because I just don't buy it. I don't buy it at all.
And the point that people are saying is going to make people vote for Trump, it's not going to make the people who hate him vote for him. It's going to make people who already hated him say, damn, I'm upset that they missed.
But this shores up his base. This shores up his base more than anything.
His base was already shored up. He didn't need to do any of this. That debate gave them all the fuel they needed. Look at every video of Biden. Dog, they have nothing on the other side politically. All the shenanigans with the courts are failing. Case dismissed. This one is corrupt. This one is fucked up. This one has ties to the DNC. So the whole entire legal operation that's against him is failed. They've already tried to attack him financially through his businesses with other lawsuits and things like this. So they keep going after him. They keep trying every single thing except doing what the people want. And they're like, all right, if he's going to fuck up this Ukraine money, this is a problem. Because this is going on for years. This is going on for like 2 years now. And you're telling me these people who are getting tens of millions of dollars probably pass through their hands a day, a week.
So
they're not trying to stop that. Look, Zelensky's wife just bought a $4.4 million Lamborghini. We was talking about that.
Yeah, but that's nothing. That's pennies in this.
No shit. This is what I'm saying. There's a lot of people making a lot of money. You start adding up all that shit. Yeah, that's something.
But you're telling me BlackRock, that's a multi-trillion-dollar company, is really fretting over Ukraine money.
I'm not saying the company themselves are threatened. I'm saying there's a lot of people who don't want the cash cow to stop. That's it. They don't want the pump turned off.
But what money
are they willing to kill for it?
But what money are they really even making from Ukraine? Like, what money is being made? That's what I'm trying to understand.
Marcus, they're
selling weapons.
This is a multi-billion-dollar money laundering operation right in front of us. What you mean? How they not making money?
They don't have to launder the money. They can easily just send it to wherever they need to. There's nobody who's sitting up there.
This is the operation at play. This is what's happening.
So what? They have to worry about the IRS vetting their transactions? No, they don't need this to move money around. They really don't.
But this is the play. This is the play that they're running. This is exactly what they're running.
I don't see it. I don't see it.
So what they've been doing what have they been doing with all the money? They own all the real estate there. They've invested in the real estate there. So again, you want somebody to come in and stop this. This is a major operation.
But what if they invested into the real estate?
They own it
because you can't build anything on it right now.
Marcus, man.
You
Marcus, you gotta see this from a different side, kid.
No. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it. But what I'm trying to say is, all they're doing is money is going over there through a bunch of weapons. There's nothing that you can build on it. There's nothing that you can capitalize on right now. It's not like you can be growing crops there's nothing that they're getting out of it. This is set up for future endeavor to make money off of later. But what are they getting? How are they getting anything out of it besides just selling weapons?
They've got.
I see mostly everybody else. I'm in the minority, and I can accept that. 15. I said shout out to Any Word over there. He says 0 chance his ear got shot. 75% chance supporters died. Yes, I agree. Supporters died, but I just don't buy this assassination attempt at all.
To me, it's not. It's irrelevant whether the bullet grazed him or whether it was a piece of the teleprompter that bust and it cut him. To me, that part is irrelevant at this point.
Did the teleprompter? But did the teleprompter get hit?
I don't know. I have to go back and look. But the only thing I'm saying is they took a shot at him. That is one thing that is clear. Another thing that is clear is that the authorities knew about this themselves, along with the average.
But that's where I have to stop you. I don't feel that that's clear.
And they did not. But it's clear. It's clear the cops saw him. It's clear the cops saw him. The Secret Service saw him too as well beforehand. He was reported up there.
I agree.
Nobody did anything.
But I can't say
one
that.
Thing is that sounds. He's a 20-year-old kid.
It's clear they took a shot. I can't say that that's clear. That's not clear.
He's a 20-year-old kid who had a transmitter on him and explosives in his vehicle. Dog, that is pure FBI, CIA setup, dog. That is textbook what they do.
Okay, I got one question. Just one question. One question. Is it possible that Trump could have set any of this up?
No.
No?
No.
Not at all.
No, not at all.
We're talking about Trump, who was the former president, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who has generals and who has all kind of Secret Service, who has all these people up under his purview, who can literally make phone calls to heads of departments and agencies, who has people who are loyalists throughout all of these government agencies. He can't do none of this stuff. Not possible at all. Not even 1% chance.
No.
Wow. Okay.
It was very clear.
Okay. I'll leave it at that. If that's what you think, that there's not possible at all that he could set that up. And I'm just dumbfounded. I
can't. He wouldn't. And there's no need.
Even if you said it was a small percentage, but no chance at all, not possible.
There's no need, and there's no need for him. There's no need for him to do it because he only has to win 3. He has to win 3 states, bro. He don't have to win.
I get that.
He don't have to win a bunch of other states. He has to win 3 states.
I get that. Just listen to me for a second. I get all that. But also, I look at it like this. He might not feel like it's completely in the bag. He might want to make sure that I want no doubt that I got this. And all I'm asking is Trump's net worth. What's Trump's net worth roughly?
Probably tens of millions, maybe.
And donors to Trump. Does he not have plenty of billionaires in his donors list?
Mm-hmm.
You telling me that money could not pay people to do any of this?
No. Mm-mm. Oh, money obviously. Okay. Could he have tried to set this up? Yes, theoretically, yes.
I get that you don't believe he did. I'm just saying, is it plausible or possible that he had an ability to be able to do this if he wanted to. I get that you don't agree that he did, but if he wanted to, do you believe that it's at least possible that he could have done this?
His whole team has been nothing but a bunch of stumbling, bumbling idiots from the time he appeared on the scene. So, no, I do not think that particular group of stumbling, bumbling idiots would be able to pull that off. No, they're too stupid. Clearly, nobody on his team is not that good. He's constantly surrounding himself with people who would either talk negatively about him or would do him dirty. So, no,
Yeah,
I
but
don't
this
think
is
so.
but these are the people he came to the dance with. We're not talking about once you become the president, the kind of reaches that you have at that point. We're not talking about the resources you have then. I get the people he had and the Cohens and all of them were a bunch of bubbling idiots. But at this point, once you are the president, there's an immense level of power that you have. There is so much reach that you have. The think that he can't find no competent people that could lay out an elaborate thing like this to happen. I just think that I can get how you don't
Nobody.
believe that that's the situation, but how you don't even see it as possible. I mean, like they brought up here, it says I agree. I think the water tower and the grassy knoll, like the JFK, if they really wanted to get it done, I believe there would be multiple shooters. I don't get how okay, they're just going to take one shot and they're going to lay it all on the hope that this 20-year-old is going to be this guy that's going to be able to do it.
Whether it was a 20-year-old, whether they had other shooters in another tower, 20 shooters hanging from a drone, whatever it was, I did. Okay, you asked me, do I think there's a chance? Okay, 0.000000001% chance of them doing it. It makes no sense to put yourself like that when half the country had, if half this country, if he got his brains blown out, would have been celebrating. This did not garner
Yeah,
him enough sympathy to. This did
and
not
half
garner
the
him enough
country.
sympathy to win any additional state. What state is he going to win now as a result of this happening that he wasn't already going to win?
It's not about what state he was going to win. I don't think that was the motivation. That's not what I mean. So that's not the purview I'm looking at it from. I'm not looking at
Okay,
it from
so
an individual state. I'm looking at it as in it assures any of those people who were the libertarian types who were like, man, I'm not really riding with Trump. That shuts them down. They're all in now.
okay,
It
where are
made
they located
everybody
though?
on the right. They're all in.
Okay, but we got to locate these people though, right? The next logical thing was okay, if they're all in, that means that you're going to maximize the amount of people who were going to vote for you and those who are on the line to come vote for you. So where are
Exactly.
most
Yeah,
of these people? So where are most of these people located? I don't think it's going to be in states that make a difference. You only need three
I do.
states, dog.
I do. I do think it'd be
Where?
in states that would make a difference. Michigan,
Where?
that's one of them. I think
The
Ohio, that's
Democrats
another
already.
one.
Oh, that was already in the bag.
Um, but I look at it like this: polls are polls. You don't know for a fact until you actually get there. Also, every election, these swing states always come down to like 1,000 votes, 1,200 votes. It always comes down to that. How do you know that later on down the road something else is going to happen, and then you lose that? Also, I think once they actually start running a lot more of these ads, and it starts going on the whole what is it called, Roe versus Wade stuff, I think that that's going to zap some of that power away from support there. I think that that is going to affect the vote. I think also if they ran the somebody even somewhat more competent who can lay out some kind of a plan over Biden, it doesn't make all that completely a lock. That's what I think. I think it doesn't make everything a complete lock this early out.
So the kid, even though the kid was in the BlackRock commercial and he has ties to them at least on some kind of level, we're just gonna ignore all of
I'm not
the
ignoring
part.
anything.
But I'm
I'm
just
not
saying
ignoring anything.
to the
I also
now to
I
the
also
okay. So then I'll ask you the same thing you asked me. So what are the odds that the other side could have done this and it wasn't Trump? What like?
That's always possible too. I haven't ruled anything out. I haven't even called it a. I mean, I say how I look at it. If it's a false flag, there's the possibility that any number of people could have done it for any number of reasons. And I look at who has the ability to be able to pull it off. Could people within Biden world decide to do that? Try to do that? Yes, because they have access. Could Obama, somebody like that, a politician who has ability to deal with the people on the highest levels of the FBI, the CIA, Homeland Security, anybody who has that access to people on that top level would have the ability to do something like this. So any former president, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, they could be possible in doing that. I mean, anybody, if so-called George W. Bush felt like Trump was that much, he could do it. Or Trump could do it on his own and set that up thinking that it could get this big bump. Yeah, they let a 20-year-old with a bad shot with no social media trail get set up for 20 minutes. They lied about the gun fire from an AR. It was a repeater 22. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. The media could be all in and on all of this. It's a control false flag going wrong. And that's what I'm saying. I do not believe that this was a real shoot. I don't believe that this kid was capable. I don't feel like he was qualified enough to make this shot. Also, we're also depending on, like, when they say, oh, well, he just moved his head. How do we know that that's when it's hard to track the sound of fire and a bullet because the bullet travels faster than sound. How do we know that he didn't completely miss him? And him moving the head had nothing to do with them saying, oh, well, see, if he wouldn't have moved his head. How do we know he didn't completely miss? How do we know that shoot on the roof, he wasn't meant to give this distraction and he fired blank rounds while somebody else fired real rounds into the crowd? There's so many different scenarios that I do not rule out.
Well, anyway, he was a patsy. He was set up to take out Trump. He failed, and they're gonna find a way to take another attempt at him. So if I was him, I would probably avoid doing outdoor events.
I don't think they're gonna take another hit in it. I highly doubt they'll take another attempt at him. Because the reason why I think that they wouldn't do it, let's say for instance that it was a legitimate attempted assassination and the Secret Service and all of them were a part of it, then somebody is going to prison behind this. If this was the case that they really did let all this go, then the second time around that happening, they're just not going to be able to, oh, well, shit, we fucked up. It's not going to fly that time. A whole lot of people will go to prison behind that. And I don't think none of these people are like, you know what? I wasn't even gone that badly that I'm going to risk throwing away the rest of my life and being exposed as an accomplice in a conspiracy to kill the president.
So they knocked down mad buildings and planes and shit. To kill a single man is nothing.
But the difference is when doing
they tried to kill Reagan. The dude just had they would have killed Reagan too. He just shot wrong. Had he aimed a little bit better, Reagan would have been dead on the street too.
Yeah, but the difference, what I'm saying is, they don't do it, fuck up, show their hand, and then do it again so they can be pointed out. It's like a sniper who's in a bell tower. If he's in a bell tower, that's a great shot for one or two shots. But you're not going to completely keep firing from that vantage point because now you've just put up a big flash like, hey, I'm right here, take me out. I don't think that they're about to
Marcus.
They literally would be putting their head on the chopping block if they did it again.
Marcus,
it would have to be an accident.
They hit the towers twice. Remember that.
Yeah, but the towers
twice. They did. They tried it from the bottom, then they hit it with the plane. I'm just saying. So they will go after the same target.
Yeah, but how big of a span was that?
8 years it took.
Exactly. They're not about to turn right around in a couple of months and do it again. Nah,
I mean,
too
they
many
got time.
people.
He'll be president for the next. I mean, I'm assuming he's going to be elected. So
Yeah, too many people would be exposed if they did it that quick of a turnaround.
I don't think it would matter.
You don't think it would matter? Well, you think that they would be able to do that and get away with it?
Mm-hmm.
So you think that no way that the lady who's director of Secret Service right now that would not put her in prison?
Correct. No. Mm-mm.
How would
We
she?
made a
How?
mistake.
No, you don't get two mistakes like
Oops.
that. You don't get away with two
We
mistakes
made
like
a
that.
mistake.
No.
We tried to
Everybody,
make sure we
everybody in
buttoned
that
all the buttons.
detail,
We made a
every
mistake.
everybody who would be a part of that detail just became unhireable for the rest of their lives.
Then go into the private sector
And
somewhere.
no, they're not gonna. Who the fuck is gonna hire them in the private sector? They lost.
The people who,
They lost a major asset.
the
Who
people
was
who
going?
know that.
Who was gonna? Man, they're gonna
The
be what
people
working
who
outside of a nightclub. That's the best they'd be able to do after
no,
that.
the people who know that they didn't mess up during their job.
No,
Yes, they
no,
will.
because if that's the case, then they're gonna know that you can be bought off. Would you hire somebody that you know can be bought off?
Depends on what I need them for, but yeah.
No,
And
because you
plus,
know
I'm
that
gonna know.
they're not loyal. You would not trust them ever again.
I'll be all right. They make some
You
money.
you would not hire them. You know good well you would not
They
hire
would
them.
make some money. Well, they're being paid by somebody anyway, so it really doesn't matter. Somebody paid them to do that. They didn't just do that for the free, so they already on the payroll, so they don't even got to
Well,
worry about it.
I
They
just
just
don't.
go. They just be they'll just be paid off the books. That's it.
I felt like they were hired by the man that they're working for.
Correct,
Sometimes
Cat.
it's just that simple.
Same thing. Like Epstein, they took his ass out of jail and rescued him. That man ain't dead.
Oh, I agree. I agree
That's what I'm
completely.
saying. So they tried to take Trump out, man. It's all good. So, but anyway,
Agree to disagree. But
yeah.
on to the next. We gotta talk about JB Vance a little bit.
I mean, look, man. He's from Ohio, right? He was in the military, worked himself up. You know, went to school, met his Indian princess, and he ran
Well,
for Congress, right?
we skipped a couple of steps there though.
Oh shit. Okay.
How did this man get from Ohio kid goes into the military and everybody talks about, oh, he's a Marine. Do you know what he did in the Marines?
Nah.
He was basically a press secretary.
Okay.
This is what this guy did. Then through that, he got all these special favors to get onto his first because you know that he basically got hired by a billionaire. A billionaire got him like 4 of his first jobs.
Mm.
Peter Thiel.
He's well connected. Oh, Peter Thiel. Oh yeah.
Peter, that's who hired this guy.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah. He's connected to Thiel, and Thiel wants to be like the orchestrator of like Skynet and
Well, yeah,
Brainiac and all the
that's
rest
the
of it.
reason. Like, so while Trump in one breath says, "Oh, I don't know nothing about this Agenda 2025," a lot of the people who worked for your campaign, or not campaign, but worked for your administration, who you dealt with on a regular basis, are some of the people who are leading Agenda 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the stuff that you're talking about in your stump speeches is stuff from Agenda 2025. And then you hire a guy who is from the Heritage Foundation, which is the head, bull point. They're the point man on this whole Agenda 2025.
Mm-hmm.
So just know that a good chunk of this stuff, which they have planned for Agenda 2025, is going to be in effect.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, it's certain now. You can count on it. So, and I think honestly, they knew this. I think that that's going to if they honestly, they could take any
So he's just a
Democrat outside of Biden.
he's just a younger version of Mike Pence with the Indian wife, essentially.
Um,
Because he
I
was
think, I
anti-Trump
think,
too.
I think he's a much smarter Pence and more shrewd. I think he also got more spine than Pence,
Hmm.
and
Okay.
so
Because he
are
said he
they
would have
both
held it.
are they both true believers? Yes. Would they
Yeah, he
both be
said he
down
would.
for all the same shit? Yes.
Yeah, because Homeboy said he would. Homeboy said he will hold his breath and vote for Hillary Clinton in 2016, I believe. He said Trump is noxious.
Well, I think that at that, I mean, another thing about JD Vance is he is pay to play. That's what he's about. Whatever can get him up that chain the fastest is the goal. And all he is a mouthpiece for whoever's paying him. And right
Of
now, we
course.
know who's paying him: the Heritage Foundation and Peter Thiel. Um,
Yeah, it's all the same. It's all the same money. It never really, it's never any different. Any different. It's always the
mhm.
same money. It's always the same money.
Yeah, and so
It's the same group. It's the same group that takes care of like toilet paper. The same group that made Candace Owens a thing, Charlie Kirk a thing. All that money, it's the same group of people, Heritage Foundation, and all the rest of it.
mhm.
It's all of them.
Yeah, I honestly think that well, their goal is to get this guy to VP because they want this guy to be the next president. That's the whole goal. And even the people who think, oh well, if Trump gets in there, he's going to try to be a president forever. I'd be a little bit more worried about that if Trump was like 60. I don't think Trump got that many more years left in him, to be honest. I'm not trying to wish nothing on the man, but the way Trump has lived throughout his life, I don't see this man living to 90. So y'all can chill out on thinking he's gonna be this dictator forever. Um, at best, the man got what, 10 years? I don't see now. I mean, he said some stuff, and we'll have to see down the road where that leads, because he's like, yeah, and if they try to decertify again, we're not going to let that happen. I'm like, what do you mean not let that happen? You can't. It's not like you got 4 years and then you can run again. You only got four more, and according to the Constitution, you're done. You can't do longer than that. Now, do I think he's going to try to appeal for more? And I would be looking at the how many people, how many liberal justices that, you know, how close are they to, you know, stepping down because of health concerns or getting age? Because if he gets one or two more, even if you do get somebody else, a third party, a Democrat, whoever in there, it's going to be right wing rule no matter what, once the Supreme Court is that far out of balance. And not even just the
Yeah,
Supreme Court. Most of the judges across the country are more to the right.
yeah, that's what's gonna happen. And that's what's gonna happen this year. Well, in the next 3 years or so, there will be far more quote right wing Republican leaning judges to enter to get to the bench, prosecutors as well, all over the country. Because that's what's gonna happen. Just as it just anytime whoever wins, whoever goes and vote, they just vote down, they
Mm-hmm.
just vote the party down ticket. They haven't done enough research to even know whether or not the person locally is good for their community or not. So they just vote down the ballot one way. So across the country, we're going to see Republicans and their uh, picks and all the rest of it. They're going to be all over the place.
I mean, it all depends on how well Democrats are at messaging. And from past history, they're not good at it. But if they could get their heads out of their asses,
You know what's
there's a
funny
lot of
though? They'll
weak
pass,
points.
but the thing is, people shouldn't be too nervous because they'll do things like what they did in Oklahoma. They'll pass laws um, what is it? What's the strict law they live by in the Middle East? Some countries, what do you call it? Sharia. Oh
Sharia
yeah,
law.
yeah. They'll waste time crafting laws that will ban Sharia law, right? So
I
this
don't think
doing
that's.
some other shit.
I don't think that's what they're gonna do this time around. I
No,
mean,
I know. I'm just saying they're gonna, but we'll see some dumb shit mixed in there some in a place where it don't even matter too.
well, the part where they kind of screw up is they have all this stuff that they want to do, but they focus on the wrong thing first.
Yeah,
Like,
every
and
time.
they're gonna be like, what we really need to focus on is first banning pornography, and they're
Yep,
gonna lose
exactly.
a
See,
ton of people on shit
you
like
see,
that. I mean, or they're
yo,
gonna be like, you know what? We're gonna ban birth control. Like, what? You're gonna ban birth control? It's
yo,
stuff
hold
like
on,
that.
Marcus. So for the RNC sidebar, you mentioned something that made me think about it.
Yeah.
Did you see that Grinder was on and popping
Oh
for
yeah, in Wisconsin,
RNC?
they
They were
they overloaded the website.
they was showing the data usage for Grinder, and it was crazy.
It like,
And
well, it was like a tenfold increase.
yeah, so for those who don't know, you have Tinder, right? Grinder is explicitly for men looking for men, and they were
Mm-hmm.
saying that while the Republican National Convention was happening in Wisconsin, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, that the app use that usage rate for the app was at its all-time high, and
What
that it
what
was
what what
going
what what are,
crazy.
what are you saying here, Chris? Maybe they were just
So,
trying to be boys being boys.
I just want to say, for as much as they be talking about shit, clearly there's a whole bunch of y'all out there.
Hey, they were trying to do the Lord's work, conversion therapy. They was trying to reach out
Yeah.
and find
Oh
them
yeah.
to bring them to God, Chris. Don't
Oh yeah.
assume don't assume that conservatives are a bunch of closeted homosexuals, Chris.
Nah, no, you're
Don't
right.
you don't you sully their name like that, Chris.
No, you're right. It was for therapy. That's right. That's correct. They were just reaching out. They're just reaching out for therapy, though. They just wanted to provide
Exactly.
help
A lot
and
of
services.
reaching out and up and down and
Uh,
around.
hey, pause, pause, pause.
Hey, that's what they doing. I ain't got to pause. I'm not doing shit. That's them. Obviously,
But
they not
no,
trying to pause. They trying to fast forward.
yeah, they hit and go.
Yeah.
It's, but I just thought that was funny because you would expect to see something like that at the DNC. You know it's going to be crazy at the DNC anyway, but that's expected. Over here, where all these guys is always talking about how much alpha males they are and how many biddies they get and all the rest of it, the fact that y'all had Grinder on and popping suggests that you got some explaining to do.
Yeah, and also it's a lot of older crowd that was there. Well, we also got to keep in mind not only the delegates who were there, because there were obviously going to be people who were outside, listening on the jumbotrons and shit like that, who couldn't make it in, who were just there. But man, a whole lot. See, the only reason why I don't think the DNC would be as high is because a lot of them they let they freak flag fly. So they're like, yo, this is what I'm into. Like, hey, I actually like to dress up like a baby and be breastfed. So if you cool with that, we can meet. I don't think that they're gonna be hiding as much stuff with the DNC. That's my only thing. I do agree. It's going to be as much stuff going on. I just don't think it's going to be on the DL as much as, the right.
Yeah. Ugh. So, I just wanted to,
Oh,
yeah, Johnny, I saw that.
Yonina, that's nasty. That's
And
nasty.
then, moving on, since we RNC,
Yonina,
the D,
put your hand out and slap your hand. That's what you need to do. Be ashamed of yourself for that.
but, being that we're here, moving on to the DNC next month, I do think Biden is gone. I think it's just a matter of time. Again, they're throwing around Hillary right now on Twitter. That name
Yeah,
is hot right now.
but what do you think? Who do you think it's going to be? And who and I'm gonna throw this extra one for you, a 2 for 1. Who do you think is going to be if and when he steps down, and who's going to be the VP?
To both answers, I have no idea. None.
Who are you leaning towards? You think it's just going to be straight up Kamala, or are they going to go outside? They're going to really push her to the side,
It's going to be
or
somebody else.
or will it be open?
It's going to be somebody
So
else.
so you're leaning more towards it being open.
Yeah, they're going to pick at the convention.
Okay, so let me throw some names at you, and let's see if any of those you think are possible. uh,
Okay.
um, I guess since this is one which I hear some of like Crystal and Kyle they talk about all the time, Gretchen Whitmer,
That's
think it's
the that's the
Michigan.
lady who lied about to being kidnapped, and it was like that was a false flag, right?
Well,
That chick.
she didn't lie about being kidnapped. It was the FBI that lied to the guy to try to get him to
Yeah.
kidnap her.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So no, she's dead in the water.
Okay. All right, so boom, she's out of there real quick. Um, since it's the next biggest name, Gavin Newsom.
Initially, I thought that would have been the pick, but I think that last bill that he just signed really just solidified his status as just governor of California. But then
I
again,
agree.
they may not care at the convention, but that was my initial pick. I don't think it will be now. After him, I didn't have anybody.
Um, Pete Buttigieg.
No.
No. Let's see. Okay, let's go for some wild cards out there. Um, and I'll save my pick for last to ask you, if you agree on that. You already know mine, but for sake of argument, but you think it's gonna be somebody they're gonna pull that you wouldn't expect, say a who was I thinking? Michelle Obama.
Hmm. That'd be good, but she wouldn't win. But that would be a good choice. I think they should just pick somebody who doesn't have a political future because they're going to lose regardless.
Well, I mean, I don't think that it's set into them yet that they completely have lost. So I think they're gonna keep trying. I don't think they're just gonna throw any
They
random
should just
person
keep
out there.
Biden. They actually should just keep Biden at this point so nobody has to waste a life. You
Well,
understand?
that is the possibility that they could keep Biden.
Because Kamala won't win. She'll just waste her time. People say, oh, yeah, you ran and lost. So that'll be it for her future, unless she has some kind of deal with them worked out to where she'll be able to keep a large percentage of any fundraising money that comes in. That maybe she would do it. Other than that, I don't see. I don't. I don't see who they have on their bench.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Nobody
saying.
popular enough.
They've
Nobody
eradicated the
popular enough.
bench.
Yeah.
Um, and shout out to my boy Gregory Walker over there. What's up, Gregory?
What's up,
Um,
Greg? They can't even use Bernie, right? They
Turin
can't even.
says Big Mike does actually poll over Trump.
Oh, he does.
Mm-hmm.
But in what
I mean,
states, though? That's the whole
well,
thing.
the ones
Three
I
states.
saw haven't been specific to states. It's just been overall polls.
Yeah.
So
But again, I'm only
nationwide polling.
as far
Well,
as
I don't think
as
it's
far
going to
as the
be any of
election.
them. Dennis Kucinich, John Stewart, Cornell West, Nina Turner, Deb Holland. No, I don't think it, or Newsom. I don't think it'll be any of them. Jared Brown says Kamala Harris and Mark Kelly. Um, that could be it. I don't know. And then of course my pick, Hillary. What are the chances you think it could be Hillary?
I think slim to none, but I think people are just throwing that name out there because of its recognition. There's a
Well,
whole
yeah,
bunch of people in a whole bunch, like for instance, here in Florida, for instance, the black population, she would have a hard time with the black voting population here.
I get,
But
I get that,
right,
and I agree.
and a
But
couple other, and you need all that. Here, you would need Florida
I
if
get
you're
that,
not
and
going
I would agree. But here's the thing: do we believe that DNC campaign managers are really paying attention that much to the numbers and would actually like get that they will understand that point?
I don't think Hillary would sign up to be a two-time loser on this level. So
I
no,
think
I
she
don't see
would. The reason why I think she would is because this woman is wanting to be the first female president like since she was like 6 years old. I mean, this is what she's dreamed for, and this is one more chance to get another crack
so
at the.
A
I
Clinton
mean,
and a Kamala ticket.
that's what I see is more likely because I've already heard Gretchen Whitmer say that she won't run with Kamala. I've already heard Newsom said that he won't back up Kamala. Also, I think, well, since she's VP, that might be, I don't know. I know there's a law like you can't have two people from the same state, but since she's been VP, I think that would kind of erase the fact that she was the senator. Because like if she was the senator, um, and he was the candidate, you couldn't run those two from California. But I could definitely see a possibility that you get the old Clinton voters and they believe that Kamala would keep black support, and I can see that
She
they
doesn't
would.
have any. That's the whole thing. There's such a it's such a misleading conversation on Twitter as it pertains to Kamala Harris. They keep speaking of her and black support as if she has any black support out of the Jamel Hills and the people like that on Twitter.
I
She
agree.
doesn't. She
I
she
agree.
has none. And again, just to mention Jamel Hill because she's been on a Twitter tantrum the last couple of days about Kamala Harris, and how the Democrats are going to f around and find out if they bypass Kamala Harris. She's speaking as if Kamala Harris did well in the primaries when she ran in 2020. She got destroyed. No one
Agreed.
voted for her. She didn't gain a delegate, as we've said on this program repeatedly at this point.
Mm-hmm.
They're gassing up. They're lying to themselves, and I guess maybe to some of the population who is unaware of it. But they're lying about the support that she has. Most look, given the FBA people, the ADOS people that we've been discussing, even some of the tethers who've been here for a long time, no group is running to claim her. Jamaicans ain't running to claim her. I don't know about the Indians running to claim her. Uh,
Well, she do got
you
one group of support,
know,
and I honestly, but I do think if she was a candidate, I think all of a sudden the Indians would secretly step up for
yeah,
her
maybe, but I'm
because you
just
have the
saying.
ability. They would have the it's kind of like the Obama effect. They would have the ability
Mhm.
to set history. I mean, it's one thing voting for her as wanting her to be the nominee. It's another thing once she's the nominee and she's you know it's a
Mhm.
whole nother story at that point. And I think that she could get that. Plus, it's not how many people that they think will necessarily uh, go out there and vote for Kamala. But how many people do they think that they can get that might vote against Trump? I still know a ton of people who are in that. Trump is, you know, the next Adolf, and we got to do whatever we can do to stop that. And so, as long as there are people who feel
And
that
they
way and
still
believe
feel
that,
like that even after he was shot at. That going back to that, that was my point. That
well,
it
there's
wasn't going
some
to make.
people who feel like he'll be worse after that.
Oh, okay, yeah, true.
some people feel like he's going to be more on a vengeance trip.
Oh
Well, I
yeah,
mean, there's a lot
Janina,
of
you
people.
know they are going to take a look at JD Vance because they are wanting to know about his wife and his son Vivek. You saw they was taking shots at him for that, right?
Of
On the
course,
right wing on
I knew
Twitter.
that they were. I knew that they would take shots at it because that's one. Well, and that's another thing. Somebody brought up a good point. Conservatives, they always, when they're ahead, and that's like I talk about this with a couple of people. Both of these parties, they have the ability that when I have this huge lead, I don't like having this lead. What can I do to fuck up the lead I have? And I think conservatives will do something. Like if you ran Kamala, they couldn't resist being racist. I'm just telling you. I'm not saying all Trumpers are racist. I'm not saying all Republicans are racist, but there are definitely a whole lot of racists over there, and they're gonna do some racist shit. I'm telling you, that's
Yo,
gonna make
it's
people be like, you know what? I can't sit out. I can't let these people be in power.
it's very funny because they were like, "Oh, he's not America first. He named his son Vivek."
Yeah.
Talking about JD Vance.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that comment getting a lot of traction. I had to laugh at it because I was like, damn, homeboy is on this dude's side, but I get it. You know what I mean? It's rough sailing out here. Um, and Kabbalah is, yeah, like I said, they over on what the mention of Kamala on Twitter and other social media accounts uh, do not reflect at all the reality. Because when you go outside and you mention her, there's no one that's doing jumping jacks at the thought of her name. I mean, at the sound of her name at all. I haven't met anybody.
I mean,
You know what
I
I mean?
know some, but I gotta explain.
Hmm.
And y'all don't take this the wrong way. I'm not trying to be at nobody, but Kamala, most of her support I see it comes from either the Divine Nine sorority sister types
That's
or
it.
the Alphabet crew.
Yeah,
She got a strong support in the gay community.
yes, that's
So
it. And
uh,
they're online, and the gay online community. Let's say that.
yeah, well, and I say in person too, because they rock with some Kamala.
Oh, word.
Oh yeah, out here in the
Oh
they
yeah.
literally I out here it's some of them that they might try to they might start windmilling on you. You talk about her too much. I'm just saying she got backers out here,
It's
and
funny.
I don't know how that's going to translate, but I think that you got people like Clyburn where how he is and how Maxine Waters are. I don't see how you sidestepping Kamala, so she has to be on the ticket. Oh, now do you put her at the top of the ticket? Or keep her as VP? I don't know. I mean, you'd have to do something like
You have to take her off the ticket completely.
if you take her off the ticket, then you're see
This is why they want
it's
to
a
do
catch
it.
22. It really is a catch 22.
But if you let it happen if you let it happen at the convention, where it seems as if, well, the people at this convention are the ones who made this, and it didn't come from quote unquote the party. You may be able to get it over. You may be able to get that one over a little bit better.
Yeah, but out of the black community, the most dependable support and voters they have in the black community for the
Our black
Democrats
women.
are black women.
Yeah.
You are going to piss off the black female vote. You're going to lose a lot of them if you do this. That's the thing.
No, it's
So
crazy. Too
it's
bad
a
they
catch
didn't come out.
22.
Yeah, I'm just saying I'm just surprised that so many of them same people didn't come out and vote for her when she actually ran for president. But I'd be
Well,
willing to take the risk if I was them.
I think that it's just I think for one, it's overstated how many of them that it is. I don't think the numbers are as high as people say. Also, um, you got to look at what states they're in.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy enough, a lot of them are concentrated in some of the same damn states.
Mm-hmm.
And so uh,
So Georgia,
once
Atlanta would be mad.
yeah, Atlanta will be mad, California will be mad,
Parts of New York would be mad.
parts of New York, parts of Jersey, parts of Virginia.
Parts of
Um
Chicago,
yeah. Um you might even
Philly,
have some in
and
some
Philly,
small amount in Florida. Um
Boston,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Northeast and California is going to be the major bulk
and
of that.
yeah, and those votes ain't gonna
And then
matter anyway.
Chicago, Atlanta,
Yeah.
because well, she got two major constituents down there in Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta might be her strongest area.
In fact, oof, ooh.
She might even get TD Jakes to come out for
Have you ever been?
her. Him and all the power bottoms,
Oh shit!
because they got to bring power to the poll.
Oh,
Whoa, pause. I did not mean that. Sorry, that came out wrong. Did not mean it that way. So y'all forgive me. But so yeah, I really think that they're like think about it. You say like, cause see, I think you're still kind of looking at them, and you're looking at the reality on the ground, and I think you're not giving enough credit to how delusional these people are. I think that you're giving them a little bit too much credit to think, man, they can't be that dumb that they're going to try this. But I think that they are that dumb. They are going to try Kamala and Hillary.
to say, "Oh my God, y'all hate women and y'all hate black women."
Dude, think about it. What if the Jamil Hills? What if the Joyanne Reeves? What if the Sonny Hostins? What have they been saying?
Yeah,
Oh, look at them. They're sexist. And all of them been throwing this whole sexism thing around.
misogynoir.
And so, okay, let's say, for instance, let's say you're correct. Let's say everybody out here, we all are just sexist. That's the reason why we won't support them. Is that going to stop you from nominating them anyway? No,
Mm,
you're still going to
yeah.
do it anyway.
Uh-huh. No, I feel you.
That's like
Um,
me saying, they're not going to let me in this building wearing a hat, but I'm going to put on a big hat anyway.
anyway.
That's what the people we're dealing with here, and so they're going to still, well, I still think we can win anyway because she's the best choice.
I mean, I'm
Okay,
watching.
go
I
for it.
saw what's his old ass name from Louisiana, Carville, right?
Oh
I
yeah.
see. I saw James Carville a couple weeks ago. He was saying something, and he was basically saying, "Yo, all this soft shit from the Democrats ain't really cutting it, right?"
Mm-hmm.
He didn't mention her name, but he basically was like, "Yo, look, nobody cares about Kamala, and the people who do care, they only care for it only be a moment. It won't be anything long term. Basically, cut the cord, pick somebody else, and let's move the hell on." I think that's what they should do, but we'll see.
I mean, I just think that they just, I don't think they got it in them to do it. I don't think that they got the moxie to try that shit.
And
Um, because
and
well, then
and
also there's another thing. They lose a ton of money doing that. They lose a ton of money. Plus, they already got donors. Are the donors love Kamala? I don't know what they're smoking on, but all the donors on the Democratic side love
I
Kamala.
think the donors is like, nah, get rid of her too.
No, they're not. No, they're not. Have you heard the interviews? Like, have you heard like Abigail Disney and like some of these other donors how they've been talking about Kamala? They love Kamala. They really feel she's a talented politician who just hasn't gotten her shot. and they know that she's going to do all the bidding of Silicon Valley. That's why they want her. And they really feel like she has crossover support to the Black community, LGBTQ community, and female voters. They really believe that with all their heart. And so, and then how many of these older ones with money who felt Hillary got robbed? I'm just seeing, and if you look at it, which two politicians have you been seeing get the most, like, traction behind their name, and they keep throwing them out there? You keep hearing Kamala and Hillary, Kamala and Hillary. And I think it's only about, because if they just throw any old Democrat out there, then they're assuring that they'll lose because you need name ID. If you don't have name ID, you don't even have a chance at winning. Because for the casual people who don't pay attention, they're like, oh, my wife told me I got to get up and we're going to go vote. For those people like that, and for the people who just get the ballot in the mail and going to fill it out and send it in, if they don't know who the hell you are, they're not going to vote for you. Even if it's not great stuff they know about you, as long as they know your name, that's 10 times more than a person who has all this great stuff but nobody knows them. And Hillary already has, granted, we don't know the strength of this base, but we know Hillary already has a base, and we know that all of the everybody's going to give her the stamp of approval. All of them are going to be out, in the streets for Hillary. And they're all going to pretend that Hillary is the greatest thing since sliced bread. You still there?
Mm. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No, I
because
was just reading
I'm frozen. I can't see shit.
I was just reading. Oh shit! I didn't even know you froze. Okay, now I was
I've
just
been
reading an
froze for
article about.
like 20 minutes.
Oh shit! Well, you caught it like right. Well, you weren't on the screen frozen for long, so you caught it like almost immediately then.
Yeah, I just
Because I didn't
I
even know.
unplugged my mic because it wasn't doing anything. I mean, not
Okay,
mic, but I
got you.
unplugged my camera so I wouldn't be just looking all crazy.
Mm, got it. All right. Yeah. Now you good. Um, now I was just reading that article about the donors and Kamala. They just had a. It sounds like they just had a sloppy call set up by Biden's team. They didn't really necessarily say anything bad about Kamala in that article I just skimmed through. Um, so we'll see though. What you're saying does make sense though. If you're saying like Clinton Kamala ticket, I guess that would be the two biggest names that they could throw
Yep.
at the other side. Cool, but
You got to remember, all these people still, if they lose, they all lose their jobs. They're not just going to put up anybody. I mean, and you got to remember, they got DC brain. They're literally sitting there, basically smelling their own farts, all believing what each one of them tell. Oh, well, Kamala can do this and do this, even though they haven't seen nothing to prove it. They all believe the hype that they talk about.
hmm.
And so when you're that much in the bubble, I mean, think about it. In fact, I got a perfect example for you. If they said it's gonna be Clinton Harris, what do you think Brooklyn Dad's gonna say? What's his first tweet gonna be?
Oh, you already know something stupid in favor of the Democrats. Yeah.
Oh, this is a brilliant move. Oh, the queen is finally back. Of course, now we can win. You already know.
Yes.
Uh,
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
what about the Harry Hintons? What do you think they're gonna say? You already know the media is gonna swing right into place. Morning Joe, all of them, like what's her name? Rachel Maddow decide, oh, I'm gonna go back to full time. I'm uh, I'm
Do
telling
you
you,
think Hillary is ready?
that woman stay ready. Now, do I think she's ready as in like she is capable to act like she's learned something over time? No, I don't. I think she's going to go out and do what she did the last time. She's going to be robotic, she's going to be tone deaf, and she's going to piss off all the same damn people and be in the same position right after election day.
Marcus,
Yeah.
to this comment, thank you, Chris, for bringing this up because it's something I was harping on earlier this week, right? There's not a single black person, entertainer wise, who can provide any kind of good political analysis at all. It is their opinions are 100% stuck in the Democratic Party's building, and it will
Yep.
never leave. It will never leave that building. So every single one of them. I was listening to another podcast, earlier this week, and again, just their political analysis is so elementary, so 2004 CNN, NBC type of analysis. They're still there. They're not able to provide you with anything beyond surface level shit. And it's sad that I have to make this comment. Well, actually, it's not sad. It just is what it is. Stop listening to them. Stop giving them the benefit of the doubt. They don't know shit. Don't listen to any of them. Marcus and I know far more. It doesn't mean that we're right about everything, but however, analysis wise, we try to look at things from a number of angles. We're clearly not Democrats or Democratic operatives. Angela Rye, she's somebody who desperately wants to be an DNC employee, but she can only get
John, don't blame that on me. Don't blame that on me. I just my screen just caught up a little bit. It slowly catch up. It says if they throw up Hillary, it's Marcus' fault. It's not my fault. I've just told y'all what they was going to do. Chris can tell you, how long have I been saying that at some point Hillary is coming back?
Yeah, you said that for a while.
I've been saying that for years now, so it's not my fault. I know that this woman does not want to ever give up. She like a bad case of athlete's foot, man. She's just not going away. No matter how much you use tough acting to acting, older eaters, she doesn't want to go away. That's what I honestly believe. And I think that behind the scenes, she's still always working her way. Like a perfect example, just like Biden. Biden knew his ass shouldn't be out there running. Did that stop him from running? I think about it. Biden ran for president 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
You think those and the 2 other times he didn't even get close to being the nominee, not even close, like stomped out. So if I'm like, Hillary is seeing this, you don't think it's in the back of her mind? I was almost there. I know I'm sharper than Biden, which she's still evil and batshit crazy, but she's still together mentally.
Yes, she is, but that brand has been tarnished, and I don't think it's enough because they did it before.
But in her mindset, in her mind, her brand is only tarnished with right wingers. That really, it's the people and the people on the left. It's because there's some sexism, but if she can just tweak her campaign a little and get a couple of more votes, she'll win it. And I guarantee you that's what's in her head. I mean, think of how many times, like in a boxing match, somebody got their ass whooped in the first fight, and they're sure, man, if I just make sure to watch out for this punch, I'm not gonna get caught with it this time, and I'm gonna win the fight. But what happens? They go in there, get knocked out by another punch. Because no matter what they thought, they were not going to win this fight. But in their head, they only got caught by this one lucky punch. That's Hillary. Hillary feels like he just got lucky. There's no way he'll beat me twice.
Yeah, no, she would catch the business if she loses. So I mean, we I
Oh, she
we
said
got
like
a
a
few more
stubborn
weeks.
yeast infection.
Uh, we got a couple of weeks until that goes. I don't know if you saw it. Team USA beat South Sudan today by 1 point. LeBron.
Oh, I watched that, barely beat them. And then I'm watching
Yeah.
people talking about the dream team wasn't as good as people say they were. And I'm like, man, y'all need to stop with this shit.
No, they
Why man, come
South
on.
Sudan. South Sudan played very well. They played very hard. They played together. They played a very good basketball game. USA didn't play bad. They had little lulls here and there, but at the end of the day, they still did enough to make sure they won. They won. So,
Well,
you know,
South Sudan, their problem, honestly, in my opinion, is they rely too much on the 3-pointer. They started getting down to the end and they weren't making the shots, but
yep.
they just kept chucking up threes
Chucking three
and
points. Yep.
slow the game down. Y'all were playing great defense the whole game, great defense, and that's honestly why I think the USA struggled
Yeah, Chris, it
because the
was.
NBA is not used to real defense. Yes, they'll block some shots. That's what most of them do, but you don't see
Hmm.
nobody like picking pockets anymore like they used to do. You don't see nobody like really get right there in front of the. I mean, as a defender, get right there and like play tight defense. You don't. I I haven't seen that in the current NBA,
Yeah,
and
these
I
guys
don't.
have gotten they've gotten a lot of they've gotten guys have gotten quicker with the ball handling, right? So they're able to make moves a lot quicker
I don't.
because
I
they've
don't.
practiced a lot longer
wouldn't
than
even
the
agree. I wouldn't even say that. They're just more flashy. It's more flashy. That's all. I don't think that it's necessarily quicker.
Yeah, but I mean, it still comes with moves. You know what I mean? If I throw it to my right and I'm moving left and I grab my left hand, you know what I mean? Like that will get you to jump to my right instead of the left. I mean, if you see the
Well,
play
another thing
in
because they don't
motion.
have to. Another thing they don't have to deal with hand checking.
Yeah,
So
no, they don't.
when
But
you're
they
not dealing with when you don't have to put a forearm in somebody's chest to dribble the ball down the court, it's a whole lot different.
but then they don't have this. They don't have to worry about illegal defense either here.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. I just look at they're playing a different game. It's a different game. It's not nearly as physical and because you had great ball handlers back then. I mean, I know people like to try to pretend that all of a sudden this era is just so much better than before. But I don't. I just think the
Mhm.
game has just changed. I mean, you can look at the point scoring, and across the board, point scoring is up. Do I think it's because all of a sudden everybody in the NBA is better? No, the rules have changed to make a difference.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. And then also off Team USA, Marcus. Next week, I believe we finally the wait is over. The Deadpool movie will be out this week. I think it
Mm-hmm.
starts. When does it start? Thursday?
So was it 26, something like that?
Is it okay? So are you
I
planning to
could be
go?
wrong. I could be wrong.
Are you planning to go see anybody in the chat going to see this Deadpool Wolverine movie?
Of course, I already got the tickets.
Oh damn!
I've had the
I
tickets for
said you
about a
already.
month.
Okay, the 25th. I see it here.
Yeah,
Thursday.
I've had my tickets for about a month.
Damn, he said he not messing around.
Nope. And got the top of the line type seats. I want the ones that shake and all the extra noise and all that shit. What is it like I don't even know what they call it, the X
Oh,
Factor seats or whatever the hell they are.
yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's the one where that shit move and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
all that, all that shit. I think it'll be an entertaining movie. It'll be fast moving. There'll be a lot of jokes. They'll introduce several variations of characters. They'll be in and out of certain universes. I'm interested in seeing if they'll end up in the universe with vampires. I think that would be not only vampires, just saying that vampires would exist in that universe they go to. Then maybe they would be
No,
able
that's probably
to
what they're gonna do because they gotta have some way to lead into
bring in Blade.
Yep.
Yep.
At some point. What I mean, at some
Yo,
well,
The Boys
no,
is
don't spoil this episode. Don't do all that.
no, I'm
I
not the
haven't seen
episode.
it.
I'm saying The Boys this season is really pissed off all of the right wing nerds. They're so upset that basically that their behavior is on display. They're not feeling that shit at all, and it's funny for me to watch it.
Oh, I definitely agree. And I mean, you start to noticing it. Honestly, you started noticing it before, but I think it's just they were delayed to catch on to it because maybe a lot of them weren't watching The Boys.
Mm-hmm.
Because what was her name? Storm, something Storm. When she came in, that's when you started really seeing the agenda.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Why come I can't remember her name? Anybody in the chat, if you know who we're talking about?
Yeah, me neither. Homelander's like never aging, never dying, immortal girlfriend
Yeah,
from season 3. Stormfront.
Stormfront. Yeah,
Yeah.
and if you
Really.
don't if you don't even get it, that's kind of a play on one of those right wing
Right.
channels.
Yeah. Correct.
So I mean, they were throwing it at you kind of heavy in the first place. Well, God, I think that sounded wrong. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, one thing I'm gonna tell you is, you motherfucking New Yorkers, y'all piss me off with this shit. Y'all come up with all these damn terms that everybody got to fucking play the game. I'm like,
Yeah. I'm
it
gonna
was a
grab some
time.
water
There
real
was a
quick.
time where
Go ahead.
there's a time when we were all adult enough to not think everything is some kind of indication of some secret homosexuality. But geez, Cameron and fucking Mace have fucked everything up. And I'm like, and I think I know why they have to do that because they're in a industry where they got a whole lot of down low people. And then, I mean, it would be easier if y'all just be who the hell you are and quit hiding it. Just stop hiding. I mean, just before I started the show, I was hearing all the rumors about talking about Busta Rhymes. So
Oh wow. What about Buster?
that Orlando Brown was saying that Busta and Diddy busted him down.
Oh boy.
Actually, he said
Anyway.
they didn't bust him down. He said, and he threw Drake out there too. He's like, no, I didn't fuck Drake. We made love. I was like, what? It's like I made love to Drake. And he was talking about Usher, and he threw a whole bunch of names out there. But one of the guards, one of the bodyguards for Bus was talking about that he's a zest monster. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I'll send you the
I,
video.
I saw something about that. Yeah, I'm good on that. Chris H asks, will Black America accept LGBTQ in rap? Um, they're already
They
there.
already accepted it.
They've been accepted it. I mean,
Yeah.
the thing is, it's a masculine activity. It's usually an art form dominated by mostly masculine men, right? It's highly competitive. Part of it is to diss each other. As straight men, you can imagine what one of the biggest disses you could use against another man. Um, so that aspect of it is never going to go away. It just is what it is. But they are accepted for sure.
Ain't Tyler the Creator basically already openly out there? And
Almost.
that's not stopping his record sales.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly don't like. a lot of people think that the black community is so super homophobic. I don't really think that they're any more homophobic than any other group. I mean, granted,
Yeah.
a lot more people in the black community might be religious, and it might go back to religious beliefs of the disapproval. But of the ones, especially who are atheists or who are what's the word, agnostic, atheist and agnostic group, most of them don't give a damn.
Mm.
And even a lot of the religious people, I mean, we all had that choir member or choir director that everybody knew in the church was gay, that just no
Mm.
nobody say nothing about it. So I don't think like it's this weird uh that we got to go through this. Oh well, we need to learn to be acceptable to it. I think people have just kind of been like, well, I like their music and they personal business. That I don't really care what they do. Like I think I remember that Bernie Mac when he was making that joke about like if never mind, I ain't gonna go into it, but I think we all know somebody within our family or our circle in some way that is, you know, part of the LGBTQ community. And even if many of us may not agree with the lifestyle, we're not out there on some like hate trip like a lot of the right wingers are. We're not trying to force our beliefs on you.
Yeah.
We're just like, man, that's your business. I'm over here doing my business, and so as long as you don't try nothing with me, we cool.
You'll be all right.
Yeah,
Exactly. Um, Thomas says he miss old school from the 2000s or maybe late 90s. He says what happened. I think mainstream establishment corrupted some of it. Well, also we no longer consume music at the same time, right? We're not. There are many more outlets to be used to consume music these days. So we don't have those collective moments of, hey, did you hear that? Yeah, last night, it was crazy. You know, everybody hears it at different times. So
yeah.
that's one. Secondly, the algorithms.
That's
If
the
they
that's the
play,
decline of the top 40s.
yeah, and the algorithm may take one or two of these songs that you don't even have to like the song. You can just maybe have rewinded it a couple times. The algorithm takes note of that, and then they start flooding your auto music choices with music that sounds similar to whatever the initial track was. um,
Well, sometimes you don't even have to rewind it. Sometimes you could be scrolling through your phone, and if it's in your feed and you were slowed down too long on it, it'll count it
hmm
as a view and then put it in your algorithm.
hmm and also the what they really did, they just they stopped they no longer allow diversity on the radio. And what do I mean by that? They didn't allow a diversity within the music. Again, before you could actually catch records with a better, more positive meaning on the radio back in the maybe mid 90s, early 90s, maybe even late 80s. You could hear some of the music had positive messages and they were played on the radio. Some point after late 90s, 2000s, there was no more diversity, there was no balance, it was all just one way, to the point that, here we are with Sexy Red being extremely popular in the culture today.
Well, I think also that has to do with a stronger control. Well, I don't even want to say a stronger control. It's just it's different how the media execs control the industry. Back
Mhm.
then, you had to go through the industry like majority of the time. There was only a small few that were able to like make their way up through the underground scene and become
Mhm.
so dominant underground that somebody's gonna have to they're gonna have to sign them because there's just too much
Yeah.
money getting out of the door if they don't. And then they
Mhm.
eventually get promoted up to mainstream. But now
Yes.
they control the algorithm to push which people up, which they want up, and keep people down who they want to keep down. And so the reason why you're getting the lottos and the sexy reds and the yachties and all that stuff is because this is who they decide that they want pushed out there. There are a lot of
Yeah.
people who are not getting the shine. The algorithm is completely shading them out.
No, they literally go and check their followers on IG, and if they have a certain amount of followers, then they'll at least give them an initial song, or maybe a little two song pack or something like that. But they're definitely looking at that. That's the only thing that matters to them, other to the labels, is like how many. What's your social media footprint look like?
Mm-hmm. I have one more topic to throw out there. I know y'all have seen it, and if y'all have information about some of the stuff you're seeing, what's going on with the Israel Palestine stuff, please send it to me because I'm having a hard time to even find stuff. I mean, I'm finding a little bit here and there, but it's getting really, really hard to find up to date information. I do know
Mhm.
that we have the only reason why it's even popped into the scene, especially with all the stuff that's been going on with Trump and Biden. It's smothering out, it's smothering out all the other stories. And even though, I mean, there has been a concerted effort. I don't know if you look into, was it Lee Fong's story that he had where he wrote about how they are putting how much money that they're putting in to, well, they were doing it as in like social media like accounts that were designed to go after certain politicians to push them in a certain direction. How they even that they came out with the Claudine Gay thing, that yes, it was basically like a group that was receiving money from the Israeli government that was sent in there to put pressure on pushing her out. And they're finally like saying, yeah, yeah, it was us over here. Well, they decided that they couldn't win the social media war on all fronts. So what they've done is the places where they are winning, they allow certain messages to go through, i.e., on X, you see so many different, well, at least I see a ton of ads that are pro Israel. Of course, you do got those people on the right who, feel a certain type of way about Israel, and a lot of that goes past just being against Zionists. It turns into against all Jewish people. Um, and I'm not advocating on that. But you can tell how other outlets are getting completely like snuffed out where they can't really talk about it. I mean, I never thought I would see Al Jazeera basically be neutered the way it is.
Look at this, Marcus. This is Yemen.
Oh, I can't
Think this.
see. My screen's still frozen. Actually,
Okay.
hold on a second, hold on. Yeah, you can put it on the screen.
Those of you,
I'm gonna switch over
those
to
of you who
YouTube
don't
real
know,
quick.
for those of you who don't know, that was Yemen. I think like 2 days ago, maybe. But this is a crazy looking scene out there, as you can see, and the sound is even wilder.
Jeez Louise. Jeez Louise. That's Yemen.
Yo, that's. I'm just saying, yo.
This reminds me of
That's
when Soleimani was killed.
yeah, and that was right. I think that was right before they hit Tel Aviv, or right after.
It's probably right after, because now Israel has struck back. Yemen. It is a Houthi TV station. Yeah, that's it right there. and then you got Lebanon also going on at the same time. Which, if these wars really pick up, I mean, well, honestly, it should be a warning to people, to us, the people, that the Houthis are able to launch attacks and actually get attacks into Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
That should be a big warning right there. That obviously that they have advanced from where they used to be, and they're a lot stronger than they used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, just some of the stuff that I've been hearing about what's going on with the Navy. The Navy and even the British Navy, they are having, the Houthis are giving them headaches. I'll tell you that. And
You
so,
know, they made their bed, right?
mm-hmm, they are well, and I've also heard, but this is probably why we're not hearing as much about Israel either. Is I've heard that their economy is getting wrecked right now
That's what
between
they're saying.
the BDS movements and the boycotts globally, which um that shows right there that that's how you can have an impact. If you want to find out which corporations are helping fund Israel, and decide, you know what, you won't get my dollars besides the tax dollars that I can't control. um but also the fact of how many of their personnel that are out there having to be a part of this war, and not able to keep their economy running. And then you factor in how many people are fleeing the country. Also, one of their major shipping ports just went bankrupt because they're
Yeah,
not able to get any goods in and out. Oh yeah. Oh, go
Marcus,
ahead.
I'm about to play this video real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Ты видишь, дрон летит?
That was the drone.
Висюш, ты видишь, что это такое?
That was in Tel Aviv. That's what they sent into Tel Aviv yesterday, I believe.
Dude,
I don't know.
I honestly feel like they're trying to warn them. They're really trying to tell them, like, yo, I know y'all feel like y'all got that Iron Dome and y'all untouchable, but y'all really not as untouchable as you think.
There's some reports, I don't know how true it is. There's some reports out since the bombing started that there had been a strike on the Iron Dome itself. Like some of
Yeah,
the
they took out some of the batteries, the
yeah.
Iron Dome batteries the Lebanese have.
Mm-hmm. I saw that. I saw the airport. You know, there was long lines at the airport again. It was running.
They never show that though. They never show that. It's kind of funny.
Mm-mm.
They never let you know that how much the population is diminishing.
Yeah, I know, right?
And then also, since Israel doesn't like to, a lot of Israelis don't like to do a lot of the manual labor jobs. They typically depend on workers being brought in, and that's the reason why when they had that kidnapping, you had people who were like Chinese, people from China and India and all these other places. That's the reason why, because they import a lot of their workforce, because before they depended on the Palestinians. Since they can't have the Palestinian workers anymore, now they got to start importing people from other places. And even those people are like, nah, we're not letting any more of our people come over there to y'all.
Yeah, I feel you, man. But you know, all I know is, you know, it seemed we could possibly be at a tipping point. You know, the United States has not, entered themselves into it. Um, in terms of committing the Air Force yet, or major activity from the Navy. But I suspect that if Israel continues to be attacked by these three, what is it, Hamas, Hezbollah, and Who else, Marcus?
You said Hamas, Hezbollah, and Houthis.
And the Houthis, yes, thank you. At some point, the United States is going to do something. And you know what? The Saudis, they're straight trash. If you just look at the map, right? Look at where Israel is and look at where Yemen is. And Israel was able to get shit off to hit Yemen. Clearly, that means the Saudis are allowing the Zionists to use their airspace to use their weapons to attack Yemen. So the Saudis is cornballs, yo,
Oh, of
super
course,
duper cornball.
and the UAE to an extent, they're the same way. I want to throw a shout out to what's that? Nahilo.
Nihilo.
Um, their comment says, "Hello, I've heard the IOF has failed to strategically defeat Hamas. So maybe no news is good news. Israel wants to report a victory they don't have. Honestly, what they're not reporting is they're not reporting a lot of their casualties. Also, they're not reporting
Mm.
how many Palestinians are actually being taken out. They're also not reporting how many of their own people that are being taken out, and whether that's being taken out as in they're no longer breathing, or they're just disabled to a point that they're not able to continue fighting. They're not reporting any of those things. So that's also why I think that there's this while we're getting this media blackout on this, and honestly, that's another angle to it. To to rehash the whole thing, that could be another person who I believe would have the power to influence all of these things. Um, Israel. I'm talking about with the whole Trump assassination thing. They
Mm.
can use for they can use a good distraction, and that could also be why they're taking so long for Biden to step down, even though they know that more than likely he's going to step down. The longer they can keep distractions up and running, the longer nobody's looking into what's going on there in Israel. And especially the ICJ has just recently came out with a ruling to them like, yo, y'all need to chill the fuck out, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I've heard I can't remember who it was from that was saying it, but or I mean what the official site was, but I heard it from Aaron Mate that he was saying that it's possible the numbers are up to 190,000 in Gaza right now
Mm.
that are casualties. And for those who want to split hairs, I said who are casualties. I didn't just say how many are Hamas, how many are civilians. I'm just saying I heard the numbers are up to 190,000. And then I get like I think Israel, even though they're having this media blackout, I don't think that they realize how bad it's going to be when the blackout is lifted. And then everybody sees what's been going on all this time and sees the sheer amount of destruction that's
Mm-hmm.
went on. I don't think that they understand how bad that's going to look. I mean, think about it. Before we started kind of getting this blackout, it was looked at like 60% of Gaza is basically obliterated. By the time we see Gaza is going to be almost a parking lot, I guarantee you. It is going to be completely level to the ground. And we're probably going to have outrageous numbers that are going to come out. And then later on, all these different atrocities and all these people are going to be coming out later on. They were like, well, all these politicians, I'm so sorry. We just didn't have an idea how bad it was. And how could we have known all these war crimes were going on? They know exactly what's going on. So don't be fooled when they make that switch at the end to try to pretend they don't know what the hell is going on.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason why I think even some of these people are trying to get ahead of it now. The Pierce Morgan types think they're trying to get ahead of it now. They know what's coming, and they know it's going to look ugly if you don't start switching sides right now. I mean, it's no different than the people like Bernie who know how jacked up Biden is, but want to pretend that he's still a viable candidate. All these things you got to pick your side because you're going to
Yeah,
be
it
judged by it.
looks like they're bombing Lebanon and Yemen right now.
Yep. And this is just going to lead on to
Like
the next phase
right
of the war.
now. I
Because,
can't find
uh-huh.
I can't find any videos that work. No, I was just saying I can't find any videos that work though because it's too new. But yeah, they're going in.
I agree that there should be some kind of Nuremberg trials 2.0, but it's not going to happen because the U.S. is never going to let that happen. And I know that you're new to the show, so you might not know our beliefs on this, or at least for the moment, I'll speak for myself. I believe that Israel has a stranglehold on our government in multiple ways, and whether it's through the lobbyists or through the blackmail that they have, which Epstein was a big part of, and you know was it Unit 8200 does a lot of spying into this country. I believe that they have a certain level of control over this country and enough secrets that a lot of our people in power will never ever want to get out. So they're going to turn a blind eye always to Israel, and they're going to defend Israel. And as long as Israel has the United States backing, they're going to always keep getting away with all the stuff that they're doing until it gets to a front where the United States has to actually fight, and then the other superpowers get engaged. At that point, I know Israel wants America to get involved, but I don't think they understand it. For those who are Game of Thrones fans, especially the ones who've watched House of Dragons, plenty of people were talking about, oh yeah, get the dragons involved. Then when you see the destruction that the dragons do, then you start really like, oh damn, I don't know if that was such a good idea. And I think that's what Israel's going to drag themselves into when they get the U.S. fighting on their doorstep.
Oh, Kat asked, isn't the north of Israel destroyed by Hezbollah? I don't know if it's the entire northern
Not the
Israel,
entire.
but they have hit. It looks like they did have a few strikes on some targets out there as well.
Yeah, they've struck some of the bases up there. They That area has been like long evacuated, so there's not very many people in the north of Israel right now.
Mm-mm.
It's mostly only military installations of the people who are still up there. That's the reason why every time you hear an attack and there's a death, it's always a soldier. It's not any kind of innocent
Official.
casualty. Yeah,
Oh.
it's not it's not some civilian. It's
Mm-hmm.
almost all because the only people who are really still sitting in that area is like it's like maybe two bases. Like one is like a satellite installation that deals with communications, and the Iron Dome part of the north. And then the other one is, I believe it is Air Command, which they launch some of their bombing raids out of with drones.
Mm.
So yeah, that's why some of the attacks are going on there, because if they can basically blacken Israel's eye in that one area, if things escalate and they decide to take ground troops in, it'll delay their response and give them cover to be able to mount a ground invasion into Israel. That's the reason why Hezbollah, where their damage is going to come is when they invade, because that's what will happen. Granted, Israel was able to fight in Lebanon the last time around with help from others. The next time, Lebanon will more than likely invade Israel, and they have the ability to do it on the ground.
Mm. So it looks as if Saudi Arabia even intercepted Houthi missiles that were headed towards Israel.
Of
Told you,
course,
man. Mm-mm-mm. Talk about
because
Saul, right?
Saudi is still playing the money game with the West.
Yes, correct.
Also, not to mention, are we sure that it was actually Saudi which fired it and it wasn't the U.S. command which is based out of Saudi? Because we still have it's nicknamed the Kingdom, where it's a military installation that's there that guards the oil reserves, and that goes
Mm,
back into the partnerships all the way to the Bushes and the Cheneys. So I mean, it's a big part of what I mean. They have long-standing partnerships with plenty of American officials and big money people in that area.
mhm. Do you think the war with Iran has subsided? At one point, it appeared as if it did calm down, but ever since Saturday, we are now getting. Ever since last week Saturday, we're now having, more and more talk of Iran. So I don't like it, but it seems as if they are trying to be brought into the mix by the United States. So time will reveal, but as usual, you know, it is
Yes,
a.
that's Turin. That's correct. Jamie Foxx was in The Kingdom, the movie The Kingdom. In that movie, The Kingdom, you can get a real good history on understanding Saudi Arabia because it throws a lot of facts in it, like the first beginning of that movie. And shout out to Denver. I see Denver over on the Rockfin side. But
Cashing out.
I think Iran, the only thing that we I think Iran is a wait and see kind of situation
Yeah,
because they just got a new leader in. That leader is expected to be more liberal and not really as much of a theocrat. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll see how
mhm,
long they stay in power. Because the Grand
correct.
Ayatollah could decide, you know what, I don't like all these liberal reforms that you're doing. You need to go sit down somewhere, and I'm gonna just put somebody in power over you. Because I don't believe any of these nations are so above reproach that they wouldn't do corrupt shit. All of them are to a degree.
Mhm, correct. Anyway, Marcus, we're almost at the 3 o'clock hour. I'm
Hmm.
pretty much tapped out for now. You got anything you want to end it with?
Um, I will say I don't know for a fact if I will make Chicago now. I know I talked about it with everybody. I still got to play it by ear. I got to see if I'm gonna be able to get the time off. But if I'm able to get the time off, still I will definitely be up there. So still playing it by ear. John, I'm gonna
All
reach
right.
out to you. I'm gonna need to catch some Z's on your couch probably, or Warren if you're in here. But
Right.
yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, same here. Let me see.
I'm
Anything?
trying to make sure if I don't go, I can con Chris into going.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to make it. But other than that, like I don't think there's anything I missed for now. And if I did, blame the brain, not the heart, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, guys, well, thank y'all for tuning in with us. It was a good Saturday. I hope you guys enjoyed the program. Pardon us for having tech issues, but
Yeah.
we continue to work on that. But please, hit the thumbs up button, you know, subscribe if you haven't, share it with your folks if you don't mind.
Eh,
That would be
eh,
cool.
Shout out to all the new people who decided to come through. We definitely appreciate y'all, and we a lot of good comments from some of the new people in. So definitely feel free to hop into the discussion always. We
Yes.
definitely welcome you.
To new, old, and Kelly M.
Nice to see you, Kelly.
I see Kelly in the chat. So,
I'm
um,
waiting for the third leg jokes.
yeah, I know. Hopefully, maybe one day we'll get lucky, right? But anyway, everybody have a good one. We'll check you guys out next week. Peace.
Peace. Oh, Chris, you got to end it.